welcome to the Beadle Grimm's Twitch channel. Tonight we will be starting our two-part stream of Step Right Up, a milk-themed horror adventure presented by none other than Beadle Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse. I am joined by this incredible cast of folks who have agreed to wade knee-deep through all the milky goodness that Mr. Bones' Big Top Euphoria has to offer. We will introduce them shortly, but before that, we just have one announcement, and that's that this stream was made possible by the wonderful overlords at Beadle Grimm's. A big thank you to Bill, Charlie, John, Matt, Paul, and their families for this opportunity. So, without further ado, it is time to meet our amazing cast. We will begin by introducing each of you all as people. Tell me something about yourself, and then tell me who you're playing. And let's start with Mikaela.
Oh, great. Hi, I'm Mikaela. I'm playing Calliope, who is a Tabaxi rogue, and I work with Matt and Justice at Beadle Grimm's.
How about CB?
Hey, Critical Bard here, Critical Bard across all social media channels. I am so excited to be here. I am playing Cinder Wind Rain, your very bored evocation wizard, twin brother to Caldera, and not so excited to be here, but he's here anyway.
Good. How about Jen?
Hey, I am Jen Kretchmer. I am DreamWisp on Twitter and DreamWisp Jen on Twitch. I am playing Izzy, who is your friendly neighborhood warlock, and you'll find out more about her as we go.
Awesome. LaTia?
I am LaTia Jacquise at The Lady Tiefling across all social medias and one of your community managers for D&D Adventurers League. I am playing Caldera Windrain, an ancestral guardian barbarian and twin sister to Cinder. And I am more fun than him, and he needed to get out of the house, so that's why we're here today.
Awesome. And Matt?
Yes, I am I'm playing Wiggum Canterbury, a very tall, lanky bard who is pretty homely but very charming. And I just want to say that I'm super excited to be on the stream today with everyone, and I'm excited that we as Beadle Grimm's get a chance to stream your exciting adventure, Justice. So thank you for doing this for us. We love it. It's awesome.
Awesome. I don't think you'll feel the same way when this is over.
I hope you horrify me with your dirty milk, you bastard.
It's pretty evil milk. You had it right on the nose. And I'm Justice. I'm your ringmaster today. I wanted to take a moment to inform our viewers that Step Right Up is a Carnival-themed horror adventure, and as such, some viewers may find some aspects of this adventure disturbing. As a precaution for this group, we've all had access to a digital consent tool to clarify any content that we'd like to skip over or remove entirely. Before the stream, we also took some time to discuss these as a group and implement some safety tools in case something strikes a nerve during this adventure. Please note that if you do check out this adventure on the DM's Guild, that I have modified it for this, and you'll want to check out the preview before purchasing. I like to start each of my games off with a roleplay warm-up. So today's roleplay warm-up for each of you is that many acts have special names, such as Stanley the Spectacular Strongman. If your character had an act in Mr. Bones' Big Top Euphoria, what would its name be? So I'll give you all a little bit to hum and think about that for a moment, and then I'm gonna call on y'all.
Oh no.
Unless somebody's ready for it. If you know it right off the bat, then help somebody else out and tell me what it is.
Caldera she'd be Caldera the Fire Tornado.
Okay, awesome.
As a fire genasi who is quick with her glaive, getting all up in there with the produce flame and then whirling around the glaive to create really awesome fire spectacles is exactly what Caldera would do.
Very cool. Anybody else want to volunteer before I call on Mikaela?
Yeah, Mikaela, do you want to go?
Calliope would be the tumbling tabaxi. So she's a big acrobat and is probably also used on the trapeze. So
awesome.
She would be the tabaxi of the trapeze.
Very cool.
So Wiggum would be the glorious golden voice. At any time, at any moment, he will capture the stage. He's a bard. And will capture the stage and regale everyone under the big top with stories and song and a lute or drum or any of the many instruments he has on him at any given moment.
Very cool.
Cinder would be the magma mystery, and basically he would be the spectacle of arcane energy, focusing on earth and fire elements as he creates these pyrotechnics and illusions and all these things to make people wonder what the heck he actually is. But he will tell no one, because by the end of the act, he has disappeared, and you will have to find him at the next one.
Nice.
And lastly, Izzy.
Izzy would be Izzy the impersonator. Just she would take whatever Wiggum's doing, I think, and with perfect accuracy replicate that. In fact, it might seem that there are two Wiggums hanging out on stage. It's quite the double act.
Nice.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to it then. So y'all's adventure hook was that a carnival is taking place outside the town of Daggerford. Abigail Oakbottom, the current head of the local Merchants Guild, has invited you to attend Mr. Bones' Big Top Euphoria tonight. In exchange for free admission and 20 gold pieces each, she hopes that you'll help keep the peace if anyone tries to spoil the fun. So, you all enter this carnival together. You see flags fluttering overhead as you walk into the carnival. Attendees are bustling about, cradling crispy fried foods, refreshing flavored milks in their arms. And there are these performers in vibrant feathered costumes waltzing to the whistle of a Calliope, occasionally roping in an embarrassed passerby into their dance. Did I say that word right? Calliope?
That is good. Well done.
I'm so happy. I looked down at the phonetics that I wrote earlier.
It's perfect.
You see this hunched clown stride out of a massive striped tent on a...
I attack!
Okay, you
I
attack.
attack the clown!
He's on this pair of wooden stilts, and though he towers above the crowd, the chuckling clown pales in comparison to all these wonderful attractions behind him. Why don't you all describe what your character looks like as they enter the carnival? What are they doing? What are they thinking?
Justice, do we meet outside and travel in together, or have we arranged to meet there at a specific time?
You probably met there at a specific time.
Okay.
Together.
Okay, yeah. So what do you guys look like?
I'll go first. Caldera is very dark, very, 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 very dark skin. Almost kind of like an ashy brown complexion with cracks that appear to have like golden molten lava coming out of them. Her head is completely bald, with bright like molten red eyes, and she is wearing like a one shoulder kind of like mantle sort of thing, and a glaive strapped to her back, and she's walking arm in arm with Cinder, and it looks more like she is pulling him than that they are walking together.
Awesome.
That's probably a good segue to Cinder being pulled in by his sister. He favors Caldera in the sense that his skin is that ashy brown, very dark, but where she is smooth, he is very rugged. And if you get really close, you actually notice that it's more stone-like than skin, with some peaks of that burning ember from their ancestry peeking through. You see that he has on a really nice cloak, and like robe, but mostly the cloak is the best thing. That's the only thing I'm gonna describe. And it's like a lighter gray tone with some reds and reds and oranges going through it. It's outlined in this really nice orange thread as well. And it's currently over his head, but he would pull it off and you would see that he has some form of dreadlocks, though again, not really dreadlocks. It's more like picture dry mud. It's still together, but it's flaky, and he even kind of like lets it out, and you see like dust kind of fly everywhere. Definitely not human, but he is currently being pulled over, and you see a blacker brown owl kind of swooping in and lands on his shoulder as they walk in. That's Cinder.
Awesome.
Wiggum walks in and he's got dark blue. He's really tall. He's like 6'5", he's like 6'6". He's really skinny. He's sinewy, and he's got like a pointed beard. Like not as white and as old as this one. He's much younger and way handsomer. But he's got like a pointed beard and like a mustache that comes down to it and chops, and his hair is like pulled back in a really tight bun. And he's got like dark blue leathers all the way down in his gangly body. And then at the end of it, he's got like a black, like lacy, like flourish. He's got a black lacy flourish that kind of comes up and around his neck. He's got a rapier on his side with like a black scabbard and a lute over his back. And he travels with a crossbow, a light crossbow, as he walks in and sees the two of you. And I have to admit that given the sense that our mission is to keep the peace, I feel like we are going to earn the easiest 20 gold pieces we've ever been offered, because the two of you are so intimidating. Walking in, it's like, I see you and I feel relaxed. And then I see the tabaxi and all hell breaks loose.
So let's hear about the tabaxi.
Well, Calliope's primarily a performer. She's there to keep the peace, so she does have on armor. It's red and gold studded leather, with little inlaid designs that are tooled, that have strange symbolism. That's little carnival performers and all sorts of little doodads. It is functional, but it's also completely over the top. She looks less like a jaguar and more like an ocelot. So she's tall, but very thin, even for a tabaxi, and goes from points of being absolutely still to absolutely fidgety. Like she just wants to start jumping and leaping over things. So
very cool.
You never know if she's looking to pounce or just zoning out.
Awesome.
And then over by near the ticket booth, Izzy is a small half-elf child. She looks like she's about 6 years old. Her hair is in ringlets with bows. Her hair is green. And she has a balloon that she's carrying around, and she's looking around in wonder. And then she kind of looks at you, and there is a... Because you know her, you can catch this, but anyone else would not notice it. There's an imperceptible shift in her eyes as she kind of sees you and nods, and then goes back to looking around.
Awesome. So as you all walk in this amalgam of these different characters, you see this yellow spotted tabaxi, kind of like a cheetah. She steps up. She's wearing a red tailcoat, and there's this overturned crate near the entrance underneath these multicolored flags. She adjusts her brightly colored bow tie and presses this tin megaphone to her lips and says, remember, folks, Mr. Bone's Big Top Euphoria is brought to you by the esteemed dairy tycoon himself, Leland Bone. At sundown, join Mr. Bone in the Big Top for a circus that you'll never forget. And she turns to you all and sees you coming in, and she says, oh, some last-minute performers, perhaps?
No. We are here to keep the peace, nothing more, nothing less. Do we know this person, Justice?
You do not know this person, but her name is Patch. You would see she's wearing a little name tag, as most of the carnival workers will be. She looks, you would know, no check required, that she looks like a ring mistress.
Okay. So they no performing today, unfortunately.
So you've come to keep the peace? Well, there's nothing wrong here. Mr. Bones, Big Top Euphoria has been to over 13 different cities throughout Faerun without a problem. I assure you this is the safest place on Earth.
13. That's more than this many.
Why, that's very good. And she reaches into her pocket and pulls out a stick of Mr. Bones themed gum with the Dairy Tycoon's face on it. It's got a very twirly little mustache. And she goes, well, here, why don't you take that and you can blow another bubble for your balloon there.
Wow.
Isn't that nice, giving candy to a little girl? It was lovely.
And I take it and I pocket it.
Yes, we're very generous here at Big Top Euphoria, and you all will be here to keep the peace. Well, then that checks out to me. That makes sense why you've got all those weapons.
Indeed.
I mean, I always carry my glaive with me, but my brother and I are here just to have a good time. He promised me. He promised me that he would do at least one carnival game by himself without me, and that's why we're here.
And you see Cinder going back and forth from Caldera to Patch, to Caldera to Patch, to Wingham. Wait, are we actually supposed to be here, or is this just a rouse to get me out of the house? Because I can go back.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
I assure you, we are not wasting your time, good Cinder. We are glad you are here. Indeed. I'm sure this will be the easiest 20 gold we will ever earn.
Wow, 20 gold, that's quite a penny. Well, if you're going to visit just one attraction, it's going to be a hard choice. Would you like to know about the ones that are here?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean,
Allow me to take notes.
And we
Allow
plan
you
to-
to take notes.
And we
Sorry.
plan to visit many more, but Cinder promised me that he would do one by himself.
You notice how she's continuing to say that as if I didn't say it. This is a form of manipulation, just so you know.
She leans in and she says, I've seen many dragged into this carnival who walk out with a smile on their face. You keep that up and I'm sure you'll change his mind before long. And you, my tabaxi friend, she looks at Calliope. Said it right again.
Yeah.
And she says, and who might you be?
I am Calliope, and I've traveled many circuses and carnivals before, so perhaps after our adventure of guarding, then I can see about further adventures with this Big Top.
Absolutely. You know, we have some acrobats here, and since the incident a few weeks ago, we have a whole new place that you could just step right in and
Got it. Hold on. Flip it and reverse it. What incident?
Nothing wrong there. It's just your classic. Sometimes the bars get a little slippery, someone falls, and they're out for a couple weeks. It's nothing that my friend Calliope here probably hasn't heard of before. It's just a workplace hazard, you know? Come on.
I'm going to instantly look for ticks and is she lying?
Make an insight check.
Right, you're not about to do this to me. Okay, I am proficient in that, and that's not the best. That is a 12.
A 12. It does sound very reasonable what she's telling you. You get the sense that she's earnest about that, and it does definitely seem like a workplace hazard. The bars would get slippery every once in a while. She says, oh, and where are my manners? And she reaches in and she pulls out this flyer of 9 attractions, and she hands it to you. I will put it in the chat so that you can see it. So these are the attractions that are available to you today at Mr. Bones' Big Top Euphoria. Each of these attractions is different from the other. Some of them may seem familiar. You can ask Patch about any one of them if you'd like. And she can give you a taste. And what we're going to do is I'm going to have each of you all pick one of these attractions that you can visit. You can go as a group or as a pair. I just want everybody to get to see at least the one attraction that they want to see.
I'm not going to go anywhere alone. But also, I've been very closely observing her voice and her mannerisms, really paying detailed attention to everything about her.
Okay, I like it.
As she hands us the flyers and we take a look at them, I immediately thrust the flyer into Cinder's face and say, "Amazing alchemy. That is for you."
And we each got one, correct?
Yes.
Everybody gets to choose one, yeah.
Yeah, you would have seen before that happens, a small fire begin to burn where it says Tunnel of Love, because definitely not going there. And then, okay, we can go to the amazing alchemy.
And it is quite amazing. Henrietta Falconelli, she's an old colleague of mine. She's very smart, she knows exactly what she's doing. You will love that. They put on all kinds of great displays for children and adults alike.
Going.
Cool. Well, I'm interested in the big top, of course.
Yes. Well, the big top will be available tonight, of course, for the circus. You're welcome to stop by early and chat with some of the performers if you like, but it will be closed, but maybe they'll chat it up and you can get yourself a referral for the next circus. I mean, we're set to be in Waterdeep next week.
Waterdeep. Indeed, what a grand city. Justice, I can't pull it up, so can you just, for some reason it's not coming up for me.
Sure, I can screenshot for you.
It's probably because I'm old and dumb. I will go, I'll say to her, you said something about love, Cinder. Is there a tent about love?
No.
There is a tunnel of love. It's a great place where all types of mushy gushy people get together and express to each other, and there's even a picturesque
They have
green
games. There's games.
There are games, prizes to be won.
Games.
Great idea.
I'm totally interrupting his conversation.
My need to be in love. Oh, it's all right. You don't have to worry about me. I would love to visit the Tunnel of Love, for in sooth, good patch, I am in need of companionship to find my true love. Oh, let there be a day like today.
That's not how they work.
It's a place you take someone that you like, or platonic love is just as great. But I should warn you that the swan boats, they are very hard to pedal alone, and if you do show up alone, you're gonna have a bad time.
He has his you have a lute or a lyre?
A lute.
Lute, I would say lyre. He has his lute and his rapier. He's more than capable of driving. Oh, a swan boat? That's a thing?
Oh, it is a thing, and they're very beautiful, and the paint isn't wearing off at all.
Thank you for the unnecessary addition to your vocabulary.
No problem. So why don't we, I'm going to assign you each a, Mikaela, you're going to be one, and I'm going to go clockwise from there. I'm going to roll a d6, and whoever it ends up on will choose. If it ends up on me, then I know what I'm going to do. So I got a 5. So a 5 is Matt. So Matt, Wiggum wanted to go to the Tunnel of Love. Would you like to go to the Tunnel of Love now, or would you like to let somebody else go first?
I will let somebody. I know Izzy's ability, but I feel inclined to be her wingman. So I will follow Izzy's lead.
Okay.
Awesome.
Izzy thinks the games sound like a lot of fun.
Okay.
And also a good place to do some scouting.
I agree. Okay, so you all, do you guys travel together, or do you all split up, or?
I'll stay with them.
Okay.
I think the instant that it looks like we're splitting up, I'm dragging Cinder to Amazing Alchemy.
Okay, so Cinder and Caldera will go to Amazing Alchemy, and the other 3 will go to the game booths. How about that?
Okay. And you actually saw Cinder start to walk towards the game booth and just okay.
As your molten feet are leaving a trail in the grass as you're dragging. A little bit. Okay. So while you all are on your way to the game booths, you see a small big-bellied kobold pushing around this little cart. And on the side of the cart, it says sweet milk in these beautiful, dazzling letters, lots of ornamentation. And this kobold is ringing a bell and with one hand, pushing the cart with the other, and then occasionally reaching from underneath the cart and sneaking drinks of this sweet milk. And he calls out to you as he pushes his cart beside you, and he goes, "Sweet milk. Would you like some sweet milk?"
How much, my good kobold? How much?
Well, because I don't want to deal with math. Everything here is 1 gold piece, he says. He says, "My name is..."
at the circus.
We are at the circus, and this is the finest beverage that you can experience. And he drinks some more of it.
Terrible idea. The sweet milk is officially a terrible idea, but I feel like if we're in a milk-themed horror, I feel like I have to drink it.
Somebody has to drink it, right?
I will. I'll say to him, I'm like, "What is in the sweet milk?"
He says, "Well, which flavor would you like? There are 3 flavors of sweet milk. There is classic, original." And he holds up this bottle of sweet milk. And I think we have a picture of it. And the sweet milk it's basically like a flavored sweetened milk with some natural preservatives added in there. It shimmers, glittery, and he says that it's just a good plain drink to wash down any meal with it. He also holds up this other flavor, which he says is called brogberry. And brogberry is this kind of pinkish strawberry-esque milk. And in it, you can see these little green berries, floating around in it. And when you shake up the brogberry, they pop and change the color, and it swirls, and it's delicious. And the last one is called chocolate. And chocolate is basically a tall, thin bottle with this blue tinted glass, and has a smooth, rich flavor that leaves this tingle of painless electricity on your tongue, kind of like Pop Rocks or something. And so the kobold says, "They are all 1 gold piece. If you'd like, there is a 3 for 2 deal. You buy 2, I drink 1.
Well, what a deal. I'll take it. I will buy 3 of the milk, and I will give it to each of my traveling partners. I personally would like the chocolate one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna, I'll say to him, in sooth, good kobold, what is in the milk? And I'll look for, I'll do an intimidation. Tell me now, or suffer the consequences. Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah, make your intimidation check.
While this is...
I rolled a 17, 4 ranks.
Okay, 17. And while this is happening, what does Izzy do?
I would like my lovely friend, my I have an invisible friend. Their name is... Coming up with something. Their name is Dreyer.
Dreyer, nice to meet you, Dreyer. And he extends his hand. He says, "The name is Bottoms."
Oh, they're over there. And I point like up above my shoulders.
He looks at Wiggum and Calliope and is like, am I supposed to play along with this? And so he turns and shakes a hand on the other side where you're gesturing now.
Yeah, and I want to actually send Dreyer, the real Dreyer, who is invisible right now, to go kind of do a quick scout around and see what's going on here. If there's
This is your imp?
This is my imp.
Okay, so your imp is crawling around and it's looking at the cart. In the meantime, Wiggum has just intimidated Bottoms, and you got a 17. So Bottoms begins to shake, and you see milk dribbling down his leg, as that's all he's been drinking today. and he says, which flavor do you want to know about? They have a lot of things in them.
Chocolate. I want to know about chocolate.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Tell me,
the
Kobo.
preservatives, they're not natural. I heard they're not natural.
What else? What evil thing lurks in chocolate?
Come on, man. I make like half a gold piece a week. What do you think I know about these bottles? I just drink half of them.
I'll pull out 3 gold. This is for you.
Oh my gosh, this is more money than I've ever seen in my entire life. This
No,
will last me
Kobo.
forever.
Stop talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm going to give this to you, but I want to know the exact contents of the milk.
Okay. Let's do this together, he says. And he opens up the side of this cart, and you see these 3 udders. And each of the udders has a flavor written on it. And he grabs one of the udders and he pulls down on it, and chocolate just begins to pour out into a tin cup. And he begins to swirl it in and look in it. He says, what do you see?
I see disgusting milk, Kobo. Disgusting.
It actually just looks like chocolate milk. Occasionally you
smells-
see a little
it
blue
smells
arc
delicious.
come across it.
Smells delicious, though.
He tips the tin back and he gestures to Calliope, and he says, you think this looks disgusting?
Well, most cats can't actually drink milk.
That
So-
doesn't sound right to me.
So yeah. It's kind of gross.
Lactose intolerant. Kobold.
I'm so sorry. You're not the only one here. Harrietta she's lactose intolerant too.
Give me. I'll snap the milk and I'll drink the chocolate.
I'm gonna
Okay, you snatch
sniff
your
it
milk
though.
and you drink this chocolate. Yes.
Does it smell completely normal? Perception check?
Perception check, yeah.
Uh,
And in the meantime, Dreer is crawling around the cart, just poking and prodding at these different little tubes. They're kind of like clockwork almost. It's the person who's funded this carnival is obviously loaded for the degree of technology that you see here. There are no bottles, even though they're advertised like that. These are all individually poured into glasses and kept chilled somehow in this device.
I got a 22.
You got a 22. Okay. So you smell the chocolate. It smells like regular milk, but you feel that arc of electricity as you sniff in, and it kind of nips at your nose, and you get the sense that there's something magical about this milk. Something about its mixture that can't be determined by physical inspection, but maybe could be determined through magical means. Is that satisfying?
Yes.
The chocolate
Not as
tastes
satisfying as the milk. It is delicious.
He says, yeah, doesn't it? And he clinks his tin to yours and downs a little bit more sweet milk as well. In the meantime, Izzy, your imp is investigating this area. What is your imp looking for?
Right now, I'm not exactly sure. So it's really just a pure exploration, and if there's something to dig in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to help
on-
with that dig in. So I'm going to kneel down next to Izzy
Okay.
and kind of say, the milk is magical.
How loud do you say that? Pretty loud?
No, I whisper to her.
Okay.
So I'm like just kneeling down next to her, like, because I'm tall. So I'm going to kneel down. And I know, and I don't want to give away that she's more than a kid either. So that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll distract as I see this starting to happen. I'll try to create a little more verboseness.
Okay.
Verboseness is that's not something you can create more of.
We'll allow it.
Okay,
So
I'll be
Dreer
louder and
Dreer
more
crawls onto these little mechanical udders and gets a little bit of a sample for you in one of these tin cups, and kind of crumples it so that it can seal up and take it with you all for later. Is it a he or is she, or for your
Let's go with he.
Okay. He is investigating this milk, and he touches it to his tongue briefly, and you can hear kind of like ooh ah coming from this invisible creature. and it takes it back, and you feel the imp kind of crawl back up and whispers to you that, yeah, there's something up with this milk. Something's not sitting right.
Was Dreer able to tell anything specifically about what that might be that's strange about it?
Why don't you have Dreer make an Arcana check for me?
Okay. That won't go very well. 16.
Dreer says that it's almost there's something Fey-like about this milk. There's something enchanty about it. He believes that maybe something about this milk messes with the mind.
Okay.
Good thing you drank some, Wiggum.
Most delicious milk. How much for another cup, my friend?
It's still 1 gold piece, and I never asked y'all how much gold you have, so you can keep bankrolling this. You want to try all 3 flavors? You totally can.
I bought the 3.
Right.
3 for 2, and I'm giving. If anyone wants to try it, it's simply delicioso.
Simply delicioso, he says, as he downs sweet milk in the back of this little cart out in the midst of all these.
Look, games, and I'm sort of trying to drag Wiggum away.
So yeah, and Bottoms is trying to pull the cart away from you after a while. He's like, come on, man. You can have all you want, but that little girl, she's gonna get away. And you see Izzy walking towards the games and trying to catch your attention that way.
Okay, I will travel. I'll travel with her, and but I want you to know, sweet milk now has a special place in my life. I had no idea what I was missing until this carnival.
It is super tasty.
It has preservatives. And I look at him and I raise an eyebrow.
I couldn't help it. It just looks so delicious. Please don't judge me.
And sugar.
The milk.
It has a lot of sugar. So if your character, they might crash in like 30 minutes or something like that.
All good.
So meanwhile, Cinder and Caldera are trudging through the grass and the amidst all the other attendees on their way to amazing alchemy. There's this it's almost sundown, but you can see this orange sun in the distance as this bright, almost neon sign is buzzing outside this green cylindrical tin carriage. There are these 9-colored hoses ventilating noxious alchemical fumes out of this loud contraption on top. The fumes exit via this like caged fan that is spinning and making this mist, this harmless mist. As you approach the carriage, it swings open to reveal this mobile laboratory that kind of opens like you've cut a tin can curve-wise and popped it open. Not again, shouts this woman in this pair of bug-like safety goggles, and she leaps over this workbench and out into the field, and you can see that her hair has caught on fire, and she's spilling bubbling contents that are dribbling down the front of this carriage, and she's running around in circles with her hair ablaze. What do you two do?
Does she look like a fire genasi?
She does not look like a fire genasi. We have a picture of her if you want to put it in the... This is Harrietta Falconelli. She is an alchemist who runs Amazing Alchemy.
Oh, she's so cute. Aww.
She's super cool.
She's so cute. Oh my gosh.
This art was done by Gwen Bassett.
Beautiful.
I kind of want to say that I feel like both Cinder and Caldera, because Caldera can control flame and Cinder can press to digitize said flame. At least Cinder, not to speak for my sister, but if he sees this, he just sighs, and like his hand, like his finger comes up and does like a 3-step move, and as it moves, you see like shifting within that air. It's something red and orange, like as if he just drew a rune in the air. and he's just going to snuff the fire off her hair.
All right, so you reach in and you magically snuff this flame out just as she's preparing to stop, drop, and roll, as if this has happened to her a few times before. She stops and touches her hair. You can see that there was a crowd around her area that has dissipated. Lots of people with the bystander effect just seem to kind of leave. And she's kind of standing in this empty area, touching her hair. And she looks around and looks up at the two of you, sees you staring uninterestedly, and Caldera
with eyes wide
open, and she says, "Oh, hello, did you do this? Not the other thing, but the part where it's gone."
It was totally her.
It wasn't. It was him.
Oh, thank you so much. This happens from time to time. It's it's the nature of mixing chemicals back and forth. And but thank you so much for doing that. If you'd like, I can show you a quick demonstration of how my hair caught on fire.
One, that doesn't sound smart. Two, what exactly are you mixing?
Well, this bottle here, and she reaches up and holds this green swirling liquid. She says, "This is an incinerator, is what I like to call it." She says, "And this bottle here," she says, "is liquid paper. So when I combine the two," and she starts bringing them closer and closer and closer.
Stop. No. Pause.
Oh, that's how it happened. That's exactly how it happened, she says, and she puts them back. She says, "You saved me yet again."
He just looks at his sister like, "You wanted me to be here, so
It's amazing. Alchemy.
Oh,
Do you
thank
do
you.
anything else?
She looks up and down at you all for a moment, and she notices y'all's get up for a moment. She says, "You don't look like performers, but you don't look like attendees. Are you adventurers, perhaps?"
if that's the word you want to use."
I mean, we're here for the circus, but we do adventure from time to time.
And it looks like with you and your liquid paper and your incendiary stuff, this is already quite the adventure.
Yes, science often is an adventure. You haven't seen anything weird around here, have you?
I think we both look at each other.
Right.
Anything you'd consider suspicious?
The only thing suspicious
Is you.
Correct.
She looks around back and forth. You see off in the distance this mascot in this clown outfit kind of dancing, and it's slowly getting closer to you all. And she says, "It's not safe to talk out here. Here, come into my lab." And she lowers down this little staircase in front and steps into the lab. She says, "I'll leave the liquid fire hair out here. The children can play with it. It's not a big deal."
Not my problem. What is going on?
It actually, before we go into her, is the incendiary stuff, is it in a bottle?
Yeah, it's in two open containers that she's set carelessly on the ground in front of her metal carriage.
How big are they?
They're like beaker size, like 50 milliliter beakers.
I will take one.
Okay. It's probably good to separate those from each other.
Other than the absolute chaos that she has caused with those two things, she said liquid paper and the incendiary word that I don't remember exactly what she said. Are they specifically anything that Cinder would know?
They seem like it's alchemy, so you can always make an Arcana check. Why don't you make an Arcana check? Let me know if you know.
I will do that, Captain.
We'll say if you get a 15, you know what they are. You got a 1. Never heard of it before, but you're really interested and you've learned a lot so far.
And it's incendiary, which means fire, which means I was taking it.
So yeah, so she explains this to the wizard. So do you guys join her in her rolling laboratory?
Yes, because there's a creepy clown that is inching towards us, and that is terrifying.
Yeah, he's going to definitely follow. I don't think he realized the clown was there. I didn't hear it. There's a clown following us?
It's actually a cow mascot, kind of like to the left of you on your screen, that picture of that cow in the cutout. It's like that, and they're basically kind of like the people who spin signs out in front of modern day businesses.
Okay.
Yeah. So you step.
Still don't like that. Gonna walk in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird. So you step into this lab, and remember, it's a cylindrical lab. The crowd has started to kind of gather back. Some of the kids have moved up in front to see the next demonstration. And as she closes she seals it off against them. She turns to the children. She says, "Much of science is waiting," and then she just shuts it. So we'll go back to the game booths. Izzy, Wiggum, and Calliope. Callie. It does make it easy. I like Callie. Okay, so Izzy, Callie, and Wiggum have appeared in front of the game booths. So you see this row of vibrantly decorated game booths. They're in the grass, packed with attendees who are lured in by attractive prizes. There's this hype man standing by a tower of power, goading confident customers to strike this steel plate, which dings every couple of minutes. People strike it with the hammer. So there are three main game booths here. There is a memory game with Myrmidons. There is the Tower of Power. And then there is a third game. The milk bottle toss. You see at the milk bottle toss, there is this kind of southern looking guy. He is sweating and angrily throwing these milk bottles. And he keeps missing over and over again. You can hear him kind of cursing under his breath as his daughter stands off to the side, really bored.
Justice, I will cast a mage hand off in the distance and let him win.
You cast a mage hand off in the distance to let him win.
Yeah, so I'll cast a mage hand to go over to the milk bottle, and just as the ring is getting close, I'll make sure that he gets a win.
So if I'm not mistaken, mage hand can push 5 pounds of pressure, is that right?
Sure.
So you go to push this milk bottle, and you kind of get this wall almost in, as if the bottles are glued together. His game is rigged, and why don't you give me a history check?
Okay. Can I, a 4, I have no idea, I've never been to the circus in my life. Can I go the opposite direction, so as the thing is tinkling around, can I mage hand it on?
As it's tinkling around, like you want to mage hand his ball?
Yeah. Oh, is it a ball that's going in? I'm sorry.
Let me explain it real quick.
Ring toss over a milk.
No. So there's these. Yeah, that totally makes sense. So there are these 3 stacks of empty milk bottles. There are 3 on top of each other in 3 separate stacks. Okay. And behind them, there are these lines that you can kind of aim at to throw the milk bottle, or to throw like a baseball or something to knock them over.
Okay, good.
And so he's basically throwing these little beanbags.
So he's trying to knock it over. Oh, that's such bullshit.
He's trying to knock him over, and when you use your mage hand to try to assist him by knocking over these bottles, you see that they're kind of stuck together.
So ooh, this is really gross. Okay. I don't know why. I think Matt's indignant. I don't think Wiggum really cares. I think Wiggum actually thinks it's pretty funny.
So Wiggum is thinking about this.
Yeah.
How about Izzy and Callie?
I'm looking around to see what I see somebody who's getting upset, so something's going on there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll send I will send out my imp to do some scouting.
Okay. So you send out Dreer again, and Dreer kind of crawls along the floor and looks back to you. We'll say that for simplicity, you know where Dreer is, and you kind of get his mannerisms by now. So he kind of looks back at you curiously, like, which one of these do you want me to go to? Which one would you like me?
So the issue seemed to be the milk bottle toss. So let's start there. If there's some problems going on there.
Okay, so he goes off to the milk bottle toss and starts investigating the bottles.
Who's in charge of that?
There's a prepubescent carnival worker standing behind the desk, basically just staring off into space as this guy keeps plopping down more money. And every time he does, he just rakes it back into a drawer underneath, and it kind of says with his squeaky voice, says, "Good try, but maybe try again." Every time he misses.
Is that a Shaggy impression?
No, that is not a Shaggy
That was
impression.
terrible, dude. That was terrible. Don't take my job.
So, Justice, is this any more rigged than a normal circus?
It's not any more rigged than a normal circus.
Okay, so
It doesn't feel that way, and that's what Dreer would confirm, is that the one that this person who is a council member is aiming at, they have been glued together.
Oh. I'll say, dude. Sorry, I keep talking. Go ahead, Callie. What are you gonna do, Callie?
well, it's part and parcel to paying the performers, so I don't see anything wrong with it. It's what I'm used to. If it seemed extra sketchy, then I would.
If he's a council member and we're being paid to keep the peace here, we should probably,
What, you want to
see
give
him
him a
dig
win?
You see him dig into his pockets again, and he pulls out some more money, and he kneels down next to his daughter, Olivia, and he says, I know that you want that bear, and we're going to get you that bear. And then you can go to Mom, and you'll give Mom a good word for me. That way maybe Daddy doesn't have to sleep on the couch tonight. How about that? Is that going to work for us?
That's Justice's normal accent.
And it is. And she nods, and she says, she basically says, yes, yeah, if you get me that stuffed cow up there, I'll tell Mom. And he says, well, that's great. I'm glad you're having a good time, sweetheart. And he gets up and he takes more money out of his pocket and begins to play again. At this point, Dreer has confirmed that this game is rigged and these are glued together.
I'm going to look at the back of the booth and see if there's a place where prizes are stored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you do a quick look around. You see most of the prizes hang on the left and right sides of the booth, but each booth has a back entrance. From which carnival workers can, close down or trade shifts.
I'm going to use an invisible mage hand to attempt to liberate one of those.
Okay, so I will say that somebody needs to distract the carnival worker if we're going to make one of the
That
prizes.
is where I come in. Not the problem.
Okay.
I'll go to the carnival. I'll go to the carnival worker. Good Shaggy. Indeed, good sir.
He says zoinks and scratches his goatee.
I believe that your institution here is not fair. For instance, allow me to take a shot at it, and I'll take out my crossbow. Should I? And because I believe they are glued. I believe they are glued together.
He says, relax, man. We just used the bean bags.
Well, they are glued together. This is unfair. Good sir, I'll say to the council member, good sir, you are being duped.
So Arthur Tripp, he's got this long, shaggy, blonde hair, and he kind of always has one of those pieces of grass in his mouth that's hanging out. And he's wearing cowboy boots. A very, very small town farmer man. He looks back at you and he says, no, my friend, I think I'm just a little bit sorry at this game. I don't think this young gentleman right here would be duping me out of a prize. In the meantime, there is this floating plushie that is dislodging itself in the background as this is going on. Now, Izzy, what are you doing as this discourse is taking place?
I'm gonna try and do everything I can to help Wiggum keep this carnival worker distracted.
Okay, so the carnival worker turns back towards you and he says, listen, man, I just do what the milkman tells me to.
Where is this milkman? I want to have a word with him.
You want to meet the milkman?
I do want to meet the milkman.
He's walking around here somewhere meeting all of the people, but if you want to meet him, you just go out there and meet him, man.
Dude. Hey, real quick, Justice, just going back a little.
Yeah.
Who hired us?
So you were hired by Abigail Oakbottom. So there is this council in Daggerford that has different guilds, essentially, and each guild basically has a council member in charge of it. Abigail is in charge of the merchants.
Okay.
This person you're talking to, his name is Arthur Tripp. He's basically in charge of the Farmers Guild.
Okay.
So he's your classic, good-hearted Texan and all that stuff, who's just trying to serve an honest day's work.
Copy that. Okay, thank you.
He tells you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that the milkman is walking around here somewhere meeting people, he wanders the carnival.
Okay.
What does he look like?
Well, he looks like a guy. He wears a white milkman costume. He's got a really great mustache, way better than I could grow, and it looks awesome. And he's got a hat and a little tie, and he's always walking around with these mascots.
We shall have to find this milkman you speak of, Mr. Tripp. I believe if you step over here, we can have a conversation about said prize.
Okay, my friend, and what was your name again?
My name is Wiggum Canterbury.
Wiggum
Perhaps you've seen me perform at the Blue Water Inn.
Oh, yeah, well, that sounds like the wrong place. And he extends his hand out for a handshake.
I shake his hand.
And he says, well, it's a pleasure to meet you, my friend. And this here is my daughter, Olivia. And there's this little girl with black hair who is standing there, who has been here probably 20 minutes watching this guy throw these beanbags at this place. And he turns and he says, oh, is this your daughter here? And he gestures to Izzy.
In a roundabout way, yes. She is my responsibility. Izzy, say hello to Mr. Tripp.
Why are you so mean? You're so mean to me.
Don't cry, child.
And I start to run off, trying to get them away from the booth so that we can do the handoff without the booth workers noticing.
As you run off, he turns and he puts his hand on Wiggum's shoulder. He says, it doesn't get any easier, friend. As this toy dislodges itself and is in Callie's possession now.
Okay, great. Mr. Tripp, allow me, come this way, and I'll gesture him off to the side.
Okay. So you walk over and you guys meet with Arthur separately, and he sees that you have this plushie. He says, how did you guys win a prize so fast? These games are so hard.
We're very skilled at these sorts of things.
Well, absolutely. It seems like you are.
Well, here, Callie, present it to the child, shall you?
Sure, and I'll do a little tumble and a flourish, like a little backflip.
Well, you're mighty talented. Are you sure you just want me to keep this?
Oh, definitely, please.
That's so sweet. And he turns and he hands it to Olivia, and he says, sweetheart, I hope this makes you happy. And you can see him kind of tearing up a little bit. And he says, please give a good word to your mother for me. I can't even walk near that tunnel of love without breaking all into a bit of a fit. And he turns, he says, thank you again so much. It was a pleasure to meet you. And
good luck on your failed marriage, good sir.
He says, thank you, friend. And he turns and walks away. So Callie, when you grab this plushie, as you're handing it off, you feel it jiggle a little bit, almost like a waterbed in consistency. There's something off about it. It feels heavier than your average plushie as you hand it off too.
It's heavier than your average bear.
Mm-hmm. And it's a little count. I think we have a picture of the plushie as well.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Not creepy at all. Anyway, meanwhile, back at Amazing Alchemy. So you all have just had this cylinder closed, and Harrietta has begun to regale you with this tale. She tells you that she is actually a pretty well-experienced alchemist, and she received a special invitation to this event. And when she realized who it was from, she decided that she had to come, and she had to come prepared.
Did she say who the invitation was from?
She says that this invitation came from Leland Bone. He is the proprietor and tycoon in control of this entire carnival. And she says that she's concerned that something is up.
What in particular makes you think something is going on?
Well, I have a passion for education, and I run a school of my own back in the city.
His eyebrow perks up at that.
She says, it's a great school. We bring in great students, and Leland was one of my best. He came back a number of years ago, and all I knew was that his family owned this dairy farm. And for somebody who had no practical experience, he caught on faster than any of my other students. I quickly moved him into advanced texts, and as fast as I could give him information, he was learning it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but what kind of school do you run?
I run an alchemy school. I teach others how to turn something into more than the sum of its parts. Most of my students are rather normal. But Leland, I began to see signs over time. He delighted at experimenting on live specimens. He took unnecessary risks and delved into books that I said were strictly forbidden. And it was at a time that I realized he could no longer be a part of my class. Not only had I taught him the bounds of my education, but there was something wrong about him. It took all my courage to tell him, but the day that I arrived to let him know he could no longer attend my school, he told me he was leaving. I remember his words very clearly. He said, I just need capital, and then I can get whatever I want. Said he had worked on some recipe for something, and he disappeared. I hadn't heard from him for at least 3 years. And then I received this in the mail, and she holds up her invitation, which stamped with a little like black and white cow patch.
He's going to hold out his hand to take the letter. And well, firstly, are there any like runic things on it? Did it seem like a regular letter?
It seems like a total regular letter. It is handwritten by Leland.
Okay. Just making sure there wasn't anything enchanted in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he'll just still look at it and then probably hand it to Caldera if she wants to look at it.
I'm looking at it over your shoulder.
Oh, duh.
It's a very formal, distant letter. It would say something along the lines of, Henrietta, my old friend, why don't you come witness what I've made of myself thanks to your teaching? Yeah.
The first thing I heard was, Dear Henrietta, what to say to you? Anywho, he was, so you haven't heard from him in 3 years, and all of a sudden your student is inviting you to come be a part of his carnival.
Yeah. And he never struck me as someone who was wealthy. That's the strangest thing. This carnival is the most elaborate thing I've seen in a long time outside of the city. I can't help but wonder where he got the money.
As someone who is a somewhat prodigy of the arcane arts, I can assure you that you can find wealth if you can even conjure it.
No, I can tell you that I didn't teach him how to do that.
So, what do you suspect? Well, I guess, what am I trying to say here?
What do you think he is planning on doing? What do you think his goal is for this carnival? Because obviously, it's more than that. If you have an inkling that something's wrong.
I don't know. My lab here, I brought everything that I think I might need. I have different things to counteract reagents in my lab, and I could look at samples of something, and I guess I'm just here because I feel like if something goes wrong and I'm not, then I'm to blame.
And really quick, when we came in and did our stuff, have we run into anyone with milk? Or has it just been those three?
There would be tons of attendees walking around with it in their hands, but the first opportunity to buy it has happened to Wiggum.
Gotcha. Cinder will say, look at Caldera and look back. I'll be right back. I have an idea. You might be more useful than you think. And he's going to, unless she locked it down, he's going to leave.
Yeah, it's a simple latch. She would unlock it.
Cool,
You'd see a crowd of children, woohoo, as it opens up, and she goes, not yet, you still have to wait longer. And she closes it again as you walk off. I'm assuming to get some milk.
Mm-hmm. Seeing the kids, though, he would probably amuse them by molding earth, and he'll make this kind of lava statue in a way of a glass of milk, because that's what he thinks they want to see right now. And it will even using prestidigitation, he'll even make it seem like it's overflowing. But then he'll and walk away towards the whoever he can find and get some milk from.
So you make this awesome milky prestidigitation of overflowing goodness, and thank you for making your prestidigitation on brand. You walk off to get some milk. You see Bottoms Up, who greets you and offers you the same spiel, 1 gold piece for the milk, such and that, and gives you the little tin filled with. Which flavor would you like?
He doesn't care. Probably the most normal.
Okay. Bottoms Up gives you the regular sweet milk flavor.
Okay.
And says not to spill any.
Why?
Because it's so delicious, he says.
He'll give him 2 gold pieces instead of 1.
I love it. He's so rich. He's just dancing.
And he'll walk away. But as he's walking,
he's
just going to go.
Yeah.
Just a little bit on the ground.
You dizzled on the ground. He doesn't notice it. You're pretty far away at this point.
But nothing happened?
No, nothing happened.
Good. That's what he just wanted to just attack has been marked. And he'll walk back to the alchemy place with it.
So you walk back, you see Harrietta, and she says, please keep that away from me. I'm lactose intolerant.
It's not for you. If any place can figure out what's going on, it's here. You said he got rich off of something, and seeing that milk is his current MO, there might be something with this. Do you have anything in your alchemical ingredients that can potentially break this down?
Yeah, I mean, I could take a look at it. He's been selling this stuff for months at this point. I didn't suspect it, but maybe there is something about the milk. Why don't I get some things set up here, and if you'll leave that, I'll take a look at it.
Before we go, though, I will attempt, just for my own sake, I will sit down, and I'll blah 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 blah. I can't speak today. I'll get some things to gather up the identify spell, and I'll ritual cast that on the milk.
Okay, nice. I like it. Caldera.
While they're doing that, Caldera tends to get antsy once Cinder sits down and begins to do things that are clearly magical in nature. She's going to the dunk tank.
To the dunk tank. Okay, deal. All right. So while she travels off to the dunk tank, you will be casting Identify on the sweet milk.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we're going to go back to our game booths. With those 3 games, did you all want to play any of the games? Izzy, you're the one who wanted to visit the game booth. Would you like to attempt one of them?
I do want to try one. Let's see, what are my stats here? So it was Memory with Myrmidons, the milk bottle toss, and then the Tower of Power, which also seemed to be a strength-based
Yeah, milk bottle toss can be more of a dex-based game. It's
Okay.
up to you how you attempt it. So that's like a physical challenge. Tower power is obviously strength, and then the memory game is more intelligence-based. It's called Marrow Memory. It's basically like that duck game where the ducks are going around in a circle, except they're little marrows, and you're looking at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go for. I don't know. Wiggum, what do you want to play? Do you want to try the memory one?
I'm just looking around, Justice.
Mhm.
Anything out of sorts in any of these games other than they may be rigged? I mean, is anything standing out? I want to give a good sort of investigation and see if anything's out of place, with the idea that my job is to make sure nothing happens.
Yeah, so let's start with a perception check, and then we'll go with investigation after that.
Okay. 10.
So,
Can Drio look around too?
Yeah, I think
Sure. Why
this
don't
would be
we
a
have
one. Why don't we?
Dreer-
Because I'm going to be doing it, but for different reasons. Mainly,
Okay.
if it's going to be a potential employer, I just want to make sure that they're on the up and up. So, do we want to? I don't want to stack the roles.
No, go ahead.
but,
I would rather you go than Drio goes.
yeah. Why don't you go as well?
So you wanted a perception first?
Perception first.
All right, it's +6. 12, 18.
18. So you two are looking around. You're standing next to each other, looking for something that seems off. And you glance at this prize wall. And all of the prizes are pretty still. But you see one of the button eyes on one of these plushies of the cow kind of twitch for a moment, and it kind of shudders a little bit as if it's having some sort of function happen. And then it kind of calms down and goes back to normal.
So you two need to be aware that the milk or the plushie from before that I gave to the little girl, it felt like there was something in it.
Like,
Like
hugs?
no,
and-
not hugs and love and like
that sort of crap.
liquid.
Liquid.
And I just saw one of the little plushies twitch.
Well, that can't be good at all. Which one where?
You can point it out. It's one in front of the game booth you guys are at. So each of these booths does have a similar prize rack to it. So they're all almost identical in the prizes that are offered. But she has pointed out the one in front of you because it's the closest. You can see the most subtle gestures.
Is
Um,
it-
I would sort of reach and put my I hold my balloon close and I sort of reach my arm over and I cast mage armor on myself
Okay.
just because it feels like something's a little weird.
I think that's awesome that you use your balloon in tandem to cast mage armor. Does your mage armor look like anything?
No, I make it work invisibly so that
Okay.
whatever form I'm taking, it's covering me.
Cool. I like it.
So I'm probably
Nice.
going to want to steal another plushie.
Okay.
Justice, in looking around, has anyone won any of the? Is anyone walking around with?
Yes. There are people walking around with it. So now why don't you give me your investigation check?
Okay. 19.
19.
Oh, sorry. 18.
So you 18. So you get the sense that this carnival worker was making the game harder for the council member specifically. There are lots of attendees leaving these areas with prizes.
Okay.
It seems like for whatever reason, this person was told to make it hard for that guy.
Okay.
So the game should be normal. Since Arthur is no longer there, the game is no longer rigged.
Okay. Copy that. Should I try to win one? Izzy, would you like a little stuffy?
Oh yeah.
Allow me to win you a stuffy, child.
What? Which game are we playing?
Anyone you wish, for I am a master of games.
Well, are you smart Are you strong?
No.
Are you?
No. I'm quick like a.
Well, then maybe the milk bottle. We should go back there.
Indeed. Let's go.
Okay.
You walk back up, and the carnival worker says, "Great, you're back. It's good to see you again.
We want to win a toy.
I'm pretty sure you guys stole from me a second ago.
No.
What?
Don't be foolish.
There's something missing. Those are big.
That's absolutely not true. There's
could get
no way. And why would you accuse us of that? That's so
You're
mean.
right here.
You were here for so long, and you have weapons."
Yes,
Have
don't
a
make
balloon.
Here we go. We're going to try to win a prize.
He says, "Okay, yeah, I don't get paid enough for this, so we're just gonna go with it." Yeah. So, and he sets 3 bean bags in front of you. He says, there are 3 bean bags and 3 milk bottle stacks here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna want to pick up one of the bean bags and throw it
I
at anyone.
understand how the game works.
Well, chill out, dude. If you get more than one, you get a better prize, but you can throw it at the same one twice if you miss it.
Are you done?
For now.
Okay, now let me roll, boys. Stand up.
I want to go ahead and
Cast something.
I take my balloon and I smile really big at him. And I would like to use my Fey Presence, which
Okay.
also will affect anybody else within a 10-foot cube from me nearby. So I'm not going to try and get Wiggum, but I definitely want to get the carnival worker or anybody else nearby.
I like it. What's it do?
It is going to cause him to make a wisdom saving throw DC 15 or become either charmed or frightened by me, my choice, until the end of my next turn. This
He
time
does
I'm
not
trying
get
to
paid
charm
enough.
him.
He does not get paid enough for this. What's your save?
15.
Oh, okay.
Wisdom.
Yeah. His eyes kind of sparkle a little bit, and he says, "Y'all are really great at games, and that's a pretty balloon. I've never seen a balloon so enchanting."
Thanks, I like it a lot. Who was telling you what to do?
Ooh. Well, it started a long time ago when I was a kid.
I mean, like that it was in charge here and giving you instructions. And why are you rigging the game against the council members?
Oh, my supervisor's name is Randy, but he reports to the milkman. The milkman told me if any council members come up, I need to make the game as hard as possible.
Why?
I guess he doesn't like the council members very much.
You don't know why?
I make $3.50 an hour.
Oh. You need to start advocating for yourself.
I
You
definitely
deserve
do.
better than that.
Can you please ask for a stuffed animal?
Oh yeah, can we have a prize?
Yeah, do you want to play the game at all, though? He says as he grabs the plushie
Oh,
and hands it
yes,
to you.
of course I do. In suit, I do. But in case I happen to miss, don't you
Okay.
think it's best that Easy has a little stuffy?
He hands you the plushie of this cow, very similar to the other one. Except why don't you roll me a D4 to see what type of cow you get?
Okay. 2.
A 2. It is a brown cow. And as he hands it to you, he says, "How now, brown cow?"
How now, brown cow?
Adorable.
So, Mr. Wiggum, why don't you throw a beanbag? It's a improvised weapon, but I'm gonna allow you just throw it like you're throwing any of your weapons usually.
Let this be a lesson to you. Mastery comes in all shapes and sizes.
So he's
A
yelling
16, but I
16.
rolled. With my dex, can I add my dex? Is that what I'm adding?
Yes, you can add your dex to 19.
Adding 3. 19.
So you throw this beanbag and it collides with this bottle of stack of bottled, you know what I mean? It's a pyramid of bottles.
Yes.
Why don't you roll a 1d4 and
1d.
add your dex modifier for damage in this case.
Dex modifier, I rolled a 4, so 7.
Okay, so you just
That's it.
explode these bottles. They crash into each other. You feel empowered. You won this toy fair and square. You definitely, yeah, I mean, well, technically you had to get 2 more, but thanks to Izzy, you did a great job.
My work here is done, child. Let
We
us
should
move
go.
on.
Like we should go now. Bye.
Bye.
She says bye. So you guys walk away and back into the fray of Carnival Land. I'm going to mark the game booths as checked off. So while we go back to Cinder and Caldera, let me know where. Yes. Oh, it's a good time for a break, isn't it?
Oh, we can take a break, but I was just going to say to Callie, I think that we should investigate. Does this stuffy feel the same way that Callie was describing earlier? Does it feel like it's something inside?
Yeah, you remember those those little the things that you can go like this and they constantly swish around.
Yeah.
It feels like one of those, like jellyish and squishy.
So I'm gonna pop a claw.
Okay.
And cut into the plushie.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand it over.
So she and it kind of and this stream of milk just and just splatters in. But when it comes out, it smells terrible. Definitely rotten. Something is up. This thing has been stuffed with rotten milk, or at one point good milk, which is no longer good milk. That was very descriptive.
Well, that's a bad place to store your dairy. It's not refrigerated. Also,
it's a Tetra
Pak. As you prod it, it almost like instinctively, like the legs of a spider when you've stepped on it, kind of, and it shrivels up into this smaller cow plushie that's very skinny and kind of devoid of its fluids.
okay, then can I start sending my imp to start just slashing all of the toys
You totally can.
on the wall?
I will tell you that it's going to splatter this whole booth with rotten milk.
I'll hold easy. Maybe we wait one move. It is going to create quite the stir, and I would love to collect the 20 gold pieces. Let us know. Let us understand though.
They were making money hand over fist. I mean, that's probably more than 20 gold pieces in that till.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Arthur, especially with my really bad math. You can leave Dreer there if you'd like, and have Dreer kind of on call to slash these things.
Sure, yeah, we have a telepathic connection. I can do that on cue. But yeah, I want the Genasi to get.
So with it being 7:30 my time, is it a good time for a break?
Let's take a break.
Okay, well, we're going to take a 5 to 10-ish minute break, and then we'll convene. 5.
Okay.
Hi everybody, I'm George.
And I'm Bob.
And I'm George.
And we're the shipping goblins from Beadle Grimm.
And today, we're selling the nameless thing in the cellar.
Stop it. Today, we're here to sell...
It creeps, it crawls, it whispers.
Shut up, George. We can't sell the nameless thing in the cellar.
Why not?
Well, for one thing, it has no name, which is a marketing challenge. Ass is a pre-marketing goblin.
Fair point.
And it's gotta stay in the cellar because it's horrible and murderous.
Well, too late for that.
What?
Yep. It's been whispering to me every night for weeks now, down deep in my dreams, and I finally obeyed. Popped open the door this morning.
Popped?
Yep, pop. Out it went. Could be anywhere now, Bob. And it whispered wonderful, terrifying things. most about killing you.
Now for sale. Nameless thing in the cellar. Murdering comes free.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Beadle Grimm's presentation of Step Right Up, a milk-themed carnival horror. Once again, I would like to thank our sponsors of my company. So if you missed the first part, our 5 adventurers have come to Mr. Bone's Big Top Euphoria, a dairy-themed carnival sponsored by Leland Bone, a very rich dairy tycoon who seems to be up to something nefarious. Caldera, Wiggum, Izzy, Cinder, and Callie have come to this carnival and have been investigating. They have found out that some of the plushies are putrid and filled with milk. They have engaged with a council member, Mr. Arthur Tripp, who just wanted to win a prize for his daughter, and have handed one of those putrid plushies to his daughter, Olivia. On top of that, at Amazing Alchemy, Cinder and Caldera learned that Mr. Leland Bone, the dairy tycoon, once went to an alchemy school and has participated in some less than ideal experiments and has gotten a taste for the bad things. Did I miss anything? I feel like I got most of it.
Nope, that was great.
You didn't mention the milk.
Oh yeah, the milk. Bottoms up, the kobold milk salesman. And Wiggum drank a shit ton of milk. Meanwhile, back at Amazing Alchemy, Cinder has been concentrating for the past 10 minutes on this milk, attempting to cast the Identify spell on it. I almost said spill, which is actually pretty appropriate.
Accurate.
You see the cracks within his skin are like glowing, like very orange red.
So cool.
So every once in a while, Harrietta Falconelli, this alchemist, she pops open a port window because this metal tin is getting hot from all of your Genasi radiating magic. So as you concentrate on this sweet milk, you see a magical disease running through it. It's got a similar type of elements of the contagion spell woven through it and elements of enchantment magic layered upon that. It's unlike any other consumable magic item you've ever seen, and it is dastardly and complicated. What do you think of that?
Seeing that there's a damn disease in this thing, especially that spell, and I don't know how to cast that spell, but I know what that spell is. I would say yes, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say you've heard of it. You're an accomplished wizard.
Yes, with an 18 in my intelligence. He will definitely, once he's done casting, kind of break out of it. And that redness goes back to the dull orange that it once was. Well, that's well, thankfully you have me here. That is laced with some very powerful magic, something that no one here should be consuming at all.
Harrietta, she leans forward in this, hunched metal bunker, and she says, "What did you see? Mine's still titrating." And she points back, and like a subtle drip of milk. It's like 25% of the way there. She said, "What did you see?"
I don't know how familiar you are with the arcane arts, but there's a spell, something that can inflict the worst of diseases. It's within in all of the milk in this place.
How many people did you see drinking this out there?
How many times has this carnival existed?
Well, I think they've been to something like 10 shows, 13. But nothing's happened at any of the other ones.
It's complicated. I have a feeling that it's not simply drinking it that causes the problem. Perhaps there's a activation.
I knew he was up to something. We have to stop. Tonight, everybody's going to get together in that big top. It's sundown, and it's almost time for that. And these people have been drinking the milk. They're all going to be in close.
Yep, that's what I thought. You need to figure out some kind of counteracting agent, something. You taught this man. You can figure out something that can help with this. I will find my sister and find my group, and we will get to the bottom of this.
Okay, I'll get to work. I think I have an idea. You're going to have to tell the children outside that they're going to have to wait a little longer, though.
Fine.
They're going to be sad.
I don't care about sadness.
Well, thank you so much. And she takes she cups your hand in hers and she says, I couldn't have done this without you. And you have to find your sister as well. She needs to know.
He will nod and walk out. And as he sees the children,
she closes it behind you before they can answer.
Show's over. No milk for you. No fun. Walk away. Go play with a plushie or something.
Why don't you make a persuasion check to have these kids not throw a tantrum?
I have a -1.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
That's a 6.
Yeah, so the kids just lose it. They're super upset. They start throwing their juice boxes at you, which are filled with sweet milk. And it clashes at your skin and it gets all over your robes and in your hair and stuff. But you can keep your mouth and nose closed.
Attack! Attack them!
And you God, bring them in my head.
They say, boo!
But what you do see, one, that same finger only have 5. He makes that same rune for prestidigitation as he cleans himself of that sweet milk because you have me effed up. And then his eyes glow extremely red as a firebolt appears in his hand. You have 5 seconds.
The kids all run away. They all run away seeing the fire come up. They scream and they run away and they say, Fireman! Fireman!
Fireman.
He burned that lady's hair!
He'll put it out. Aquila will fly onto his shoulder again. Go find the others. And she will fly off. Hold on. I made like some kind of
so good.
But it was like a hawk eagle, and this is an owl. So I don't know what just came out of my mouth.
It's familiar.
It's super educational. You know the difference.
Was great though.
That was the highlight of the whole stream. That sound.
He's like telling us the difference between the birds.
I mean, you can always have it change shape, so maybe it had been a hawk or an eagle and just transformed, and now is hanging out as an owl.
Exactly.
I'll tell you, when you hit yourself with that clean spell, you hear this tiny, faint, like magical squealing as it kind of sizzles off you, almost like it's wriggling, and you can feel your clothing moving. And meanwhile, Caldera walks up to the dunk tank.
I do. And she's all sunshine and sparkles. How much to throw?
How much to throw? We are in a mathless land here, so you get 3 throws for 1 gold piece. And sitting in the dunk tank currently is a elderly halfling man in a city watch uniform, well, I guess town watch uniform, and he has got these dyed cotton candy blue huge mutton chops. If you'd like to give me a history check, we can see if you know who this man is.
I'll try. Oh no, I don't know. It says a 4.
Y'all should have spent more time in history. So it's from looking at him that he looks like a retired watch captain, but you don't know his identity.
Okay.
So you see a hype man standing outside and says, "Would you like to take a swing?"
Before he gets to the end of his sentence, I have slammed a gold down and give me the thing to throw, please.
He says, I like your gusto. And he hands you 3 baseballs. And you see that this target is super small. And he says, you must stand on the X over here. Then you see a bunch of like an X vary about 15 feet away from this circular dunk tank. And there's a little window in it that you can see the almost white water swishing below this person.
Okay. So yeah, I'll stand on the X and throw a baseball.
All right. Why don't you make an attack like you're throwing a dagger or a hand axe, whichever's easier.
That's a 23.
All right. So you step up. You are so ready to go. You slam the gold down. You pick up that baseball, and somebody, I don't watch sports, somebody name a baseball player that throws a baseball.
Randy Johnson.
Jim
that
Palmer.
person, yeah, like Palmer, like Johnson. You throw that straight at home plate or wherever you throw a baseball, and you dunk this captain of the watch. He is laughing as he gets dunked in, and as he falls in, his hand kind of slowly against the inside of the dunk tank, and you don't see him come up for air. What do you do?
She is first. So reaction, the first is she is overjoyed. Like, this is the only thing that she had in mind. This is all that she wanted to do, that one ball, and she's good. But then when she doesn't see him come up, she turns to the hype man and she says, is he okay?
You see the carnival worker turn back, and he's tapping his chin. He says, give it a minute, and then we'll see if we need to get the hook. And he waits for a moment.
I think maybe about after 15 seconds or so, she's going over to the dunk tank.
He says, yeah, I think we better fish him out. And he walks around to the back with you. He says, I asked the guy if he could swim. And he steps up to the little steps around the back of this dunk tank, and there's a little door, and he pulls out this ring of keys to this door, and he goes, gosh, I cannot remember for the life of me which key goes to this door.
Can I just pull the door open?
Yeah, give me an athletics check.
That is an 18.
All right, so you look at him as he's about to go through this ring of keys, and you just rip the door basically off of its hinges, and turn back towards the man, and he says, that was much more effective. And he says, will you hook him out? And there's a small hook on the wall next to this little door for fishing people out.
Yeah.
Who get stuck in the dunk tank.
I grab the hook. Well, yeah, I grab the hook and I hook him out.
So you reach in for the hook, and you feel something grab it on the other end, and it starts pulling towards the dunk tank. Why don't you give me a athletics check?
Cool. That is a 12.
Okay. So you are grabbing onto the hook, and you are overpowered by this pull. Would you like to go into the dunk tank with the hook? Would you like to come out? Or let it go in alone?
Is there any way that, like, I feel myself being pulled in? Is there any way that I can, like, get my foot onto the side of the dunk tank and try and, like, oppose?
It's pretty slippery, but
Okay.
I'll let you do it. But I'll let you try to get your footing, but you'll have disadvantage because of the water.
Okay.
We'll say a DC 10, you can gain your footing.
Okay. Is this another athletics, or it's like a dex?
Let's call it athletics.
Okay. Oh, that's a natural 1.
All right, so you slip into the dunk tank, and as you fall into the water, this halfling comes back up to the surface laughing, and he says, oh, you didn't know how long I could hold my breath, did you? You sunk me in less than a second. I thought maybe I'd play with you a little bit. And this captain of the watch is laughing. He says, you look scared. Don't worry. Bob Proudfoot can swim better than a mako shark.
Is this water that I'm actually in?
It's been diluted a little bit. It's kind of milky.
Cool.
It's a milk-themed carnival. It's a little bit of milk.
Yeah, there's a little bit of milk. Caldera is kind of constantly higher temperature. Like, there's a heat haze around her, just in general. So if this is a milk-based liquid she's in, it's probably beginning to curdle.
Bob notices it, and he's like, ooh, gonna get out of here. And he grabs onto the little ladder to the right, and he says, wasn't expecting that. You did a really good job with that. Sorry that I pulled you in here. And he steps up and reaches down and offers to pull you out.
I accept his hand.
As he pulls you out, you can see a worker standing there scratching their head, and he's like, should I shut the dunk tank down for a little while? Or... He says, nah, it'll be fine. And so Bob comes to the foot. He's dripping a little bit. You would probably be wet as well from the dunk tank. And he says, I gotta know what your name is. I swear you're probably the strongest person I've arm wrestled since that giant.
Oh, well, my name is Caldera. And she's
Caldera?
like, there's milk like evaporating off of her at this
Yeah,
point.
it's just sizzling away. He says, Caldera, my name is Bob Proudfoot. And he offers to shake your hand. He says, so what brings you here to the carnival? Just enjoying your time?
Yes, I brought my brother, who doesn't get out of the house much. And we were just here to see the sights, I suppose.
That's a good thing you did for your brother. I've been retired for a couple years now, and getting out of the house, I wasn't gonna miss this opportunity. Look, I even dyed my chops. And he kind of pulls on these cotton candy blue mutton chops. And he says, you're a good sport. Thanks for letting me pull you in there. I thought I'd play a little game, within a game.
Within a game. It's gameception.
It's gameception. You're woke, aren't you?
I don't know. Caldera will smile, and she's, lighthearted, and she's like, well, you scared me. Most people don't hold their breath for very long. I was worried.
He says, oh, it's a carnival. It's all fun and games here. I didn't mean to worry you. I apologize. If you'll look, that there carnival worker, he's an old guard of mine. He knew I could hold my breath. And you see the carnival worker chuckle a little bit. And he says, I used to be the captain of the watch here in Daggerford. I had to come down when I heard that old crazy guy was hosting this carnival.
Leland?
Yeah, Leland Bone, the milk guy.
Right. How long has he been running this carnival?
Oh, I don't know how long he's been doing it, but this is the first time here. I'm just glad he's on his feet again after that incident a while back.
What incident?
Well, you didn't hear?
I'm not from around here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Basically, this farmer guy, he put all his money into this milk. He decked out this huge carriage. He bought it, stuffed his life savings into making this special sweet milk recipe, loaded it up, came into the market on the busiest day of the year trying to sell it. But he didn't get the proper permits. So our guys had to turn him away, right? You can't just go selling milk out in broad daylight if we haven't vetted you, you haven't bought a stall, you gotta fill out your papers. And this guy...
Exactly. Your cows have to be the organic and properly vetted and all of that. I understand.
Supposedly he was a genius, but I don't understand how a genius can miss, that many signs. So we turned him away and, well, milk does what it does. It spoils. And, it was actually kind of awkward. I had to arrest him back then. He came back after we turned him away, and he was throwing bottles of rotten milk at old Abigail's place. He's shouting it up about bureaucracy of Daggerford and all that. And, well, we put him in for a while, and then when he got out, he disappeared. And looks like he made something of himself then. And then, he has all the permits to be here, from what I understand, so.
Well, you live, you learn, and then you get milk.
Well, that sounds dangerously close to something we need to copyright, so let's not say that phrase here on the live stream. And he backs away and he says, well, I'm going to go get me a shrieker on a stick down at concessions, so you're welcome to join me if you like.
Would you say about this time is when Cinder's probably walking up?
I think that's a great time for Cinder to walk up. So Cinder walks up. You see Caldera dripping and mostly drying off with her steaming molten tattoos, I guess. Yeah. And you see her talking to this halfling watch captain who's got these cotton candy blue mutton chops. What do you say?
It's actually as he's probably offering to go get a shrieker on a stick with Caldera, she looks up and sees Cinder and kind of very abruptly cuts him off. Oh, there's my brother now. We haven't seen all of the sights yet, so I'm going to go with him because I'm the only reason he's here.
All right, well, I'm gonna go eat my fill. It's better than cooking alone, if you know what I mean. And he turns around and walks off.
Cinder would get to her and notice that she's dripping, knows that she can evaporate that water pretty quickly, but even then he does it to dry her up a little bit.
Thank you.
We need to go now.
Yeah,
we need to find the others.
Oh yeah, and as we go, I relay the story that I just heard to him.
And I relay the chemical parts of the milk and stuff.
Awesome.
I would say Aquila is probably talking to me, saying where they are, because Aquila's probably found the three.
Awesome. So with Team A for alchemy wrapped up, the Team B, you all are you have wrapped up at the game booths, and the question is, do you go where Callie? Callie, I don't think you ever gave me an attraction, or do you go to the Tunnel of Love?
Well, so the owl just came to us?
I'd say it's on its way.
But we just discovered a bunch of crazy stuff anyway. I think we're going to want to start finding the other two. Because we were about ready to start slicing open stuffed animals.
I can send Dreer, and Dreer. Oh wait, no, I don't have that yet. Never mind.
You can say you guys just wait like 3 minutes, and the owl comes.
Do I need to put the timer up?
No, you don't need to put the timer up. Does the owl talk?
It's a familiar, so no. But however, it would notice the three of them and just kind of. I can't even do it right now.
So good.
I love it.
And exactly. It's not even a hoot. It's like, why is he sounding like that? Because it's a fiend.
People are whispering. They're like, "What is an owl doing out here in broad daylight?" I guess sundown.
Pay no attention to the owl, my friends.
And it will. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, I was just saying that it would probably circle Calliope and Izzy, and then probably like perch on top of Wingham's head, and then like fly back up and start going towards where Cinder and Caldera is, aka follow.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll follow. With everything that's happening, it feels like there's movement afoot, and so we'll follow the owl back to those guys.
Yeah, and in fact, I can send Dreer ahead, and Dreer can talk. So Dreer can relay everything that's happening as well and get you caught up. So by the time we get there, you know everything that we know.
Boom!
Okay. So we'll say you all convene. You are in the area in between. We'll say that the Tunnel of Love is towards the north and the Big Top is northwest. So you're kind of in this open area. Carnival workers are kind of bustling, trading shifts, and it sounds like you're maybe about 30 minutes out from the circus taking place as you all get together and relay the information that you both respectively have received. So I'll leave it to you all.
And he will say, oh, go ahead.
Oh, just a thought. Wait, and I kind of look around and make sure nobody's listening. Like, something bad is happening, right? Do we want to just get everybody away?
I have a feeling that it's much deeper than we think or can even comprehend.
But if it's going to go bad, wouldn't it be better to get the people who are here gone?
The question is, how many of those people have consumed the milk already?
It is delicious. I can attest to it firsthand.
You drank the milk?
He drank the milk.
I did. And I want you to know something. I don't regret it for a second. Whatever the outcome is, I accept the consequences.
Can
It's
you?
delicious. In fact, if I was around, I'd buy one more gallon. But
You
in
didn't dispel magic yet?
I don't know if it matters if we're far away. If even if we get people away, I believe that the magic will still. And
Is the magic inside of you all along? Is that how this works?
I think that's how this works.
Raises an eyebrow, and it's this moment of like very clearly not being a 6-year-old.
So, Cinder, real
Just
quick,
being like,
did you? So I missed the spell. What is the spell again, or what is?
So it's not a spell. It seems like after I identified the milk is laced with all these things, but in layman's terms, it's laced with a contagion spell.
Okay.
Which is a 5th level necromancy spell. And so that means you, in some way, shape, or form, Wingham and anyone else who has drank this milk is diseased.
Okay.
But it hasn't activated yet.
You're gonna die.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. It would seem to think, in giving the information that we have, that there's some kind of retribution that this ringleader, this circus leader wants to extract on the town, right? So therefore, when everyone gets under that big tent, he's going to do something dastardly. I can feel it. We have
I'm
to stop
so
him.
proud of you. You figured that out.
Yes, I'm just saying for the people on the stream, they may not know.
Just an in-character recap. So as you guys are talking, you hear in the distance the subtle honk of a horn, like a, and you hear somebody laughing, like,
I attack!
You attack. Who do you attack?
The darkness.
The owl.
No, not the owl. So as you guys are chatting, you can see this trio of clowns slowly making its way through the crowd, basically trying to encourage them to go to the big top. And they see you all kind of in your own area deliberating and talking about this milkman. And there are 3 of these clowns that begin to approach you. One of them is this tall, hunched clown on stilts, and he has a huge, like Santa-sized bag around his on his back with a big sad face. Then you have this other one who has a green nose and green hair and goes by the name of Pickles. And then there's this other one that has shoes about the size of her head. And every time she walks, they make this awful squeaking noise. And so this trio of clowns kind of surrounds you. Oh, and Pickles is on a unicycle. And so they surround you, and Squeaks begins to squeak her shoes, and Pickles begins to tell you all jokes. And he says to you, let me get my jokes.
Oh no.
Oh, he's got jokes.
I have so many jokes.
Justice.
As they were walking forward, because he don't like that. For the Bible said, "Don't come for me." You would see him snap and like draw a circle, and you would see like the heat wave that's on Caldera slowly goes from the bottom of his feet and goes up as he also casts Mage Armor.
All right, so you cast this Mage Armor. You've got this heating circle, and Pickles on his unicycle wheels up, and he says,
Did you hear about the ranger that got eaten by his lion companions?
Nope.
They said that he was consumed by his own pride.
and Squeaks the whole time is just squeaking these 2 shoes together. And Baggy, the one with the bag, leans back on his stilts and utters this low kind of inhuman guttural laugh, like in response to all of these jokes. So what do y'all do when Pickles is talking to you like this?
I'll say, as a born performer, we are not interested in your trifling jokes. Be on your way, clowns. We are in serious conversation now. Away!
Because that does wonders for a clown to tell
Well, how
how
about
serious
this?
you are.
How about this? My name's Pickles, And I tell you this, I love myself a little good tickle. Pickles loves tickles. So if one of y'all lets me have a little tickle, let me tickle you, then me and our friends will make our way to the big top. Anybody want to get tickled?
No.
No.
I volunteer Wiggum.
Wiggum, would you like to get tickled? Is that your name?
It is my name, indeed. Pickles.
Wiggum, if
You can't just
tickle-
volunteer someone else. You can't just do that. That's
Wiggum.
not how this works.
We
I'm sorry,
operate
it was-
by consent here, Wiggum. So if you allow me to tickle you, we'll give you something from Baggy's bag.
I'm gonna go ahead.
I'll present my armpit. Tickle away, Mr. Pickles.
Can you present your armpit? And he gives you a slight
yeah.
tickle. It's a regular tickle. He's just a normal, innocent clown. He tickles you.
There's no such thing as a normal, innocent clown.
It's just
No
a
such
normal.
thing.
It's a normal clown. He tickles you, and he says,
Whoa, thank you. That made me so happy letting me tickle somebody. I love myself a good tickle.
Really
Baggy, why don't you-
quickly. Jen, were you saying something?
No, it's okay. I was gonna send my imp to see what was in the bag. But
when he opens the bag, you can send Dreer to
yeah,
to
let's see what's in
investigate.
there.
Okay. So after this completely innocent tickling, the bag opens by Baggy. It's up in the air, and when your imp looks inside, you see a few things. So you see a pair of clown shoes. You see a high striker hammer, similar to the one that you saw on the stands. And you see something kind of lumped and crooked at the bottom. And it's kind of in this mess of sloshing, as if something has been stuffed into the bottom. And whatever it is, it's moving. And as Dreer kind of relays this, you can see the side of the bag, like press like a face is coming out the bottom in response. What do you do?
Nope.
Do we all see that, or is it?
It's just Dreer and Izzy. Baggy is.
So Dreer is telepathic and can relay this, I believe. No, never mind. Just with me. So what kind of presents you got in that bag?
Well, I got different presents. I have myself some, got some milk bottles in here for your drinking means. What else you got in there, Baggy?
And Baggy kind of utters this guttural chant in response.
He says, sorry, I'm the only one who speaks, Baggy. Baggy says it's mostly just shoes and presents and nice things in there. Isn't that right,
What
Baggy?
was it something specific, or was it just like a weird sound?
The chant.
Are you asking if you know a language?
Did it sound
Yes,
like
I'm asking if I know
yeah.
a language.
We'll call it deep speech.
Got lucky. No, I don't speak
Okay.
deep speech.
So
I speak many things, not that.
In this low guttural chant, Baggy responds, and Baggy reaches in and he pulls out a pair of clown shoes. These clown shoes are similar to the ones that Squeaks wears, and I will share with you their stats. They are a magic item.
Ooh, we like magic.
You're going to see
items.
both of the stats for some of the magic items in here, but you just get to know what might have been. So you have these clown shoes now, Wiggum. It is a legitimate prize. You have endured the torture of these clowns, for not many can, and they have bestowed this prize to you. Baggy seals up his bag. He puts it back on his back and stilts over to the big top. And Pickles turns to you and he says,
The big top, the show's about to begin. You might want to make your way into the circus, because it's about to get all the flavors of life and joy that anybody could ever know.
I really hate those clowns.
you should hate the clowns.
I don't like those clowns at all. Okay, let's, I'll turn immediately to the crew and I'll say, in sooth, what are we to do now? We can't let this just proceed as it happens. Perhaps we should create a diversion. Like collapse the tent or catch it on fire or something.
Breathe.
Okay.
Fire.
The best thing for us to do right now is
Just
to
burn
act
it all
like
down.
you also breathe. The best thing for us to do is simply to let it go as is. We will find out more information. If we do this prematurely, we might be seen as villains or people who are trying to ruin the magic for kids and folk alike. We can't do that. We have to go in.
Easy for you to say. You didn't drink the milk. I have drunk the milk.
And whose problem is that?
Well, I take full responsibility. Yeah, it was delicious. But make no mistake, I would do it again. I would regret it, but I would do it again. But we don't, time is not a luxury I possess. I must do something or else die I will. I'm afeared.
As I said, I do not believe they're going to activate or whoever is controlling this. You're not in danger yet. So we need to make sure you don't become in danger sooner than you need to. So we will go forward. We will go to the big tent. We will set up. Perhaps some of you can go to the high rises and some of us can be in the audience. If you want to attempt to be on stage, Wingham, you
I
can
could
do
also
it.
just go
But
be one of them.
that is true.
Yeah, we
Are
can
you going to
pretend.
separate?
Huh?
Okay. What are you saying, Izzy? I'm sorry, I missed that.
I can go be one of them.
Oh, yeah. Be a clown?
Mm-hmm.
Mayhaps.
And for a second, you watch Izzy's face as it transforms exactly into Pickles' face. Wait, Squeaky was the one who was wearing the shoes?
Squeaks wears the shoes. Pickles is the one that will be the hardest to replicate is Baggy because he has stilts.
And he was speaking a language I don't speak too, so
That's part
that
of it.
would
Yeah, that's
be
part of it.
tougher too. Yeah. So, but we have the shoes now. I mean, it won't matter, but the shoes might help. So
And for the purposes of this adventure, attunement is instantaneous.
Cool.
So I don't want people to have to spend an hour to use the coin.
And also, can we assume that we've been walking around being pretty mellow for the last hour, so short rest for the
Yeah.
reset?
Cool. Sure.
Yes, so I can go back there if you want me to go back there and do that, or or we can keep doing what we're doing, or
I'm afraid if you go exactly as he is, and there's two of you now walking around. that might be
the first thing we'd have to do is we'd have to get rid of him, which I have no problem with. And you see this very vibrantly colored energy start crackling between her fingers, and her eyes start flaring in these same bright colors, and then she sort of just reins it in.
Do you tell us what was in the bag, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, okay. So
it's a bag of nightmares.
It's a bag of what?
It's a bag of nightmares.
Oh God, Cinder. If I'm gonna cast enhance ability on myself to try to counteract whatever this spell is, I mean, do you think it would be a con save?
What I think I would be able to ascertain what. Well, I will let you decide because again, I can't actually cast a spell, but I am very knowledge and I know what the spell is. So, what do you think?
Can the alchemist make a medicine?
She's trying. That was the thing. She's going to try to make something that can fix the effects of the milk.
I wonder if we can throw anything in there to help her.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
We can always go back and talk to her.
We gotta get people to stop drinking the milk, though. So we got stuffed animals that are filled with this. They're giving those to kids. So we got people who are drinking it. So that might be something we want to break down.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple options, but I think we should start moving on it now before everything gets turned.
Okay.
I would also know though, really quickly, that poison and to not get poisoned, it's a con. So I would at least know, be more fortified in your body.
Okay.
Milk disease too, right?
So
in that same vein, probably.
Milk disease?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's essentially disease. So if you want to know which of the 6 stats it's tied to, it's definitely Constitution.
Okay. Well,
It's resisting. It's kind of like a toxin, basically. It's resisting a toxin. Wiggum has drank a lot of it.
no, I didn't drink. It wasn't a lot.
I remember you saying gallons. I could drink gallons more.
It was.
He could drink gallons, but he only had
just
one,
had one
thing of it, right?
I didn't have one, but it was delicious.
Okay.
But it was delicious.
But it was delicious. Okay, so you guys see people making their way to the big top for the show, for the circus. The sun is nearly set. What would you 5 like to do? I have heard. So usually I like to just choose one of the 3 you guys choose. So I heard go talk to Harrietta. I heard go to the show, and I heard stop the show in some way. Is that right? Or did I miss any?
Well,
That's basically it.
yeah, or empty, like stop the delivering of milk, but
Stop the delivery.
Try to
I
figure
mean,
out.
that can be a simultaneous thing because we got friends we can just send to go do that potentially, and they might be able to handle that on their own.
Personally, I think it's too late to stop the show if everyone is already in the big top. So infiltration or talking to Harrietta seems like the best options.
And I personally feel like Henrietta won't know more than what Cinder has already talked about because they've already discovered what's in the milk, and she's working on a plan. If anything, I can send Mikaela to Henrietta to see what she has done so far as making that concoction to counteract. But I don't think going to her is going to help. So I think the best choice right now is infiltration.
Okay.
Is go to the big top in different ways and figure out what we can find out.
Okay.
Do we want to ruin the plushies though?
Oh,
If everyone's going to
and
be
I'll
at the
say this.
big top, we
yeah,
can.
if everyone's in the big top.
And for the sake of this adventure, all of the plushies who are given to kids will assume they're being held by their parents, because we all know kids don't like to hold on to something very long anyway. Their arms get tired. So we'll assume all of the plushies are in the parents' possession.
I will say we can, in suits, we could stop the big top from happening. It would not be hard to make everyone run for their lives.
Yes, we can easily cause chaos.
You see my eyes light up. Maybe literally.
I could set the tent on fire.
That's what I'm saying. If we started the fire from the top down, enough people would be able to leave. I mean, it would stop the performance aspect of whatever this revenge plan is.
Fire is it's going to come off as criminal. We have
Ant?
well,
the good thing about it is fire can't be traced when it's arcane.
but if we were to pop the plushies that are all in the big top, I have a unseen servant, so I just got to stay close enough, and I could pretend like I'm a performer, plus the spells and the other things. We could start popping it, and now everyone's going to just be disgusted, and they'll leave without causing full-on destruction.
Well,
And there's
go ahead.
there's this milkman too who's in charge, right? So we haven't actually seen the milkman, but maybe we should find the milkman, because if we can get the milkman away, maybe we can slow down.
Milkman is Bones, right?
Yeah, Leland Bone, Mr. Bones, and the milkman are all the same person.
Yeah.
Sorry if that wasn't clear before.
I thought so. I just wanted to make sure.
I mean, we could try to take out Leland Bones before he ever gets on stage, and allow Izzy to accept that position as the ringmaster and take the show in a different direction, so to speak.
I think my worry about focusing on the plushies is that that's such a meticulous thing to do, and it seems like we don't have time. And I agree, it would be good to just make everyone gross. That's still gross, but I think
it's already started at this point. I think Izzy has already started sending her familiar to at least a couple of the booths that have emptied out, and those plushies are
taken down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dreer could totally, while people are leaving, they're closing down the booths.
Yeah, Dreer's on it.
Incapacitating all of these plushies.
Plus, it doesn't stop from those of us who have imbibed the milk.
Yeah, you all would see as you're talking, as these people walking by, so many of them are drinking this. It's like that mutton stick at Disney World, essentially. Everybody has to get one when they see it.
Can I bump into anybody who comes close enough and with my balloon and like knock into them and try and make them drop their milk or spill it? Or...
Absolutely.
And I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk.
Okay, no. Plus one inspiration for a pun. Good job. Milk puns are inspirational. So you knock into one of the patrons, they spill their milk. They're like, man, that was my only glass. What am I gonna do now? And you have effectively saved that person.
I grab out of my pack, I pull a lollipop out and I go, here, have this instead. It is a lollipop from the Feywild.
This grown up who's upset about the spilled milk gleefully takes the lollipop and says, thank you. And then puts the lollipop in their mouth and walks off.
This is not grand plan.
Can I have that be a wild magic surge?
You want that to be a wild magic? What, producing the lollipop?
No, it's a lollipop from the Feywild.
If you have the table.
It doesn't have to be a full-on wild magic surge, but just something that's,
Lord.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do it.
This person puts the lollipop in their mouth from the Feywild. They say, this tastes like blueberry. And their whole skin begins to turn blue like Beauregard. As they walk through, they're like, this is the best lollipop I've ever had in my entire life. And they say, thank you so much. I don't know why they're not selling these. And decides to leave the carnival instead. So enamored with the lollipop that they don't even care.
So
one cell saved.
So let's start going towards the big tent.
Okay.
So we're not like just time is being wasted. Let's start going towards the big tent, big top. Shit.
That's okay.
And we can go from there. I think that's just gonna be our best bet.
All right. I think that's a good idea.
I cast invisibility.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea. I see you do that, and I will do the same. No, I'll save my spell slot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I see you do that, and I'm like, whatever.
Wiggum goes invisible. Izzy stops for a second. Doesn't go invisible.
Do we want to do this in a way that we're not noticed?
I mean, as we're moving, I think we need a plan, and we need it immediately.
Yes.
Cinder, what say you? What should we do? Caldera, what's your idea?
Well, if we're headed to the big top, my intention is to be a part of the crowd and to interfere as necessary.
Well,
I will do the same.
Callie, what are you going to do?
What is the purpose of our interference? Because I can get up on the high wire or whatever.
I think it would be good for someone to definitely be looking at from the top down to see if there's anything. Because when as performers, we don't see the magic behind the show. I think if it's good, we have somebody looking at that aspect more so like what's happening up in the rigging with the lighting or the sound or whatever. Is there anything being set up for the big grand finale that Mr. Bones might have?
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. Did the booth workers go help set up backstage at the big top?
Yeah, some of the booth workers do. For like the game booths, those closed down entirely. A few of the attractions that still have people going through them, they continue to function as usual. I'd say probably like half of the carnival is going to see this big top show. Some of the other aspects are still just functioning as usual. It's like the big event, but there are lots of people at theme parks and stuff who decide not to go to the biggest show they have. They just continue doing the things that they enjoy more.
Okay. If it seems like it would be opportune, I will transform into, was his name Randy, the ring toss?
Shaggy.
Randy, what's the...
Yeah, his
supervisor.
Attendant?
Yeah, you can turn
Maybe
into the ring
supervisor,
toss guy.
sorry. If I see a spot where I might be able to do some good surveillance, I'll sort of walk behind something and shift. And what'll happen is that the dress that Izzy was wearing sort of folds up into a pocket as her clothes adjust to fit her new form.
Okay. Yeah. So you duck out and you change into this carnival worker that we'll say his name is Jeffrey.
Hi.
And before Izzy goes though, you will see Cinder reach into his pouch of components and he gets some ash and he also scrapes some from his hair and he kind of mushes it together and then using a circular motion with his finger, it will catch a light and then and it'll settle down to the feet of everyone around and slowly magma starts to form upon you guys' feet and then it crusts and then it fades away as he casts his pass without a trace.
Ooh, nice.
Magma feet.
Okay, so
Why did I
everybody
actually
has a
click the
plus,
use button on here?
everybody has a +10 to their stealth checks that they make over the next hour. And I don't think, it is concentration.
It's concentration, and you can't be tracked by magical means. You don't have to be within any type of feet of me. Well, you have to be within the feet to get the spell, but once you have it, you have it. Which is why I said before people spread out, he would do this and then.
Gotcha.
So.
All right, so you all are, we have Wiggum, who I'm going to give advantage on stealth checks for being invisible, and then everybody else also has a +10 to their stealth, and Izzy is currently disguised as this carnival booth worker. And
I hate my life. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Oh. and Callie, I can't remember, were you invisible as well, or?
No, but I'm going to go up into the rigging, high wire, trapeze, whatever.
Sweet.
So I'm at +16 on my stealth right now.
Amazing. Okay, so why doesn't everybody go ahead and make the stealth check, and then we'll narrate the actual big top.
Go. Ooh, wow.
That was a wild ride.
That's a 30.
I got a 31.
27.
8.
So I have 6 ranks. I rolled a 16 and then +10.
All right.
32.
Maths. Okay, so you all are the stealthiest people in the world. You move in past the ticket collectors, unseen, just moving through the crowd. As you go into this big top, you see that there are these jars of tiny fire beetles dangling from these wooden beams, casting this orange warm light on the interior of the tart. There are 4 stands in total, which each have 2 rows of seating on them. They are packed to the fill, basically, with carnival attendees. And in the center, there is this 40-foot diameter circus ring, which in the center is this star-shaped platform and a wooden beam going up to the top, basically creating the classic big top tent. The curtain that you enter towards is the main curtain. There, you notice there's also another curtain to the south that's larger and allows carnival workers to move showpieces in and out. So maybe you guys would have entered through that one instead of the front. And you see this long, elaborate carpet running from that one out to the ring where the lighting is concentrated. So as you sneak in, you all wanted to know about things that are being set up. So there's a small concession stand off to the right, in which there is a carnival worker selling different concessions, basically anything handheld that can be eaten, and of course the classic sweet milk. In the center of the ring is Patch, the Taback that welcomed you all at the beginning, the ring mistress. She has her megaphone to her mouth and she's announcing that the show is about to begin and for everybody to take their seats and get comfortable. Since you're in the rafters...
Sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
As Patch is addressing the audience, I'm going to see if... I want to make an investigation check or a perception check to see if that's her true form or is she, or could this be the milkman? Because we haven't seen the milkman.
Why don't you give me perception? And how about everybody give me perception? We'll call it a group perception check, and I'm going to give Callie advantage for being in the rafters.
11.
11, okay?
9.
13.
13.
I am not perceptive. I'm smart.
23.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Okay, good.
17 plus 6.
And 19. No, 19 on Dreer.
Okay, so...
Oh, whoa, hold on. Okay,
Yeah, use a Keela.
Oh, yeah, your owl.
That's a 22.
Nice.
Wow.
So your owl
Yeah.
soars up into the rafters and lands next to Callie, you're standing on this protrusion where trapeze artists swing, and you do notice that there is a little bit of grease on the bars, and somebody should definitely clean that. As you look
Like
down into the
hand
stands,
sweat grease, or are we talking sabotage grease?
No, like classic nervous swinging trapeze artist.
I'll wipe it.
Okay, you wipe it. You might have just saved somebody just then. You look down into the stands, and as you're looking out, you notice that there is like this VIP section. And in there, like 3 seats down, is this man in an all-white milkman outfit with this small mustache. He's a little bit slender, very pale-skinned, and he sits almost statue-like, waiting for the show to begin.
Oh, nope, don't like him.
Yeah, he's creepy.
Generic white boy. I'm good.
And 3 rows down, you see Abigail Oakbottom, this intelligent leader of the merchants area. She is the one that ultimately told Mr. Leland Bone that he would have to turn his cart around. And they are sitting, there's so much tension between these 2 people that are sitting just a few feet away, because it's super awkward for both of them that they're there, it feels like. Wiggum, you're looking out. You don't notice anything different about Patch. Patch actually looks really into it. She seems like she's enjoying the show. She is a performer after all. And why don't you give me an insight check as well, since you focused on Patch?
I don't insight anything.
Okay, you don't insight anything. And Izzy, you notice that backstage there is this tiger cage, and there's these 2 men in there talking about their routine before. One of them wears these striking red boots, and you would recognize him by a poster on your way in, that this is Dobbin the Daring. And he embraces this man that looks to be his husband, who is a were-tiger, who takes a Bengal tiger form, and they prepare their act and practice some choreography, basically, going back and forth so that they can wow the crowd with this daring tiger show. And then in the meantime, you will see a couple other people basically getting ready to do various acts. How do you all react now? I give you a lot of information.
Well, sorry.
Go ahead. No, I didn't have anything.
If we didn't roll the perception high enough to assess the seeming tension between the 2, right?
It is only Callie who notices the 2 in the VIP section.
And Akela.
And Akela, yes. And the owl. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, if that's the case, then I will, in an invisible form, will make my way to, if there's 2 obvious entrances into the starred circle, the performance area. Like I'm picturing a tent, right?
Yeah.
And like there's rigging above, but there's got to be entrance from the back on the performance, where the performance.
Yes, there's a large carpet running from a side entrance where the performers enter.
Great. So I will be, if I can, and if I'm invisible, is I would like to get to that area and see if I could get above that door frame. Meaning if something were to come out big and scary, I'd have a chance to make an attack from above. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you climb up and you ready yourself kind of over this wooden archway, over this back curtain. What are the rest of y'all doing? Caldera and Cinder.
You, first of all, I think personally, and Caldera, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like Caldera and Cinder would have walked in together and then went opposite ways.
Spread out.
Not Caldera. Cinder will be like in the middle of a crowd, not really pressed about being close to people, but you will see him almost doing this type of thing right now, and he's forming an eye, and there's like a rune of an eye that's glowing for a second, and that disappears. I'm going to ritual cast Detect Magic.
Okay. Caldera is going to make her way through the crowd, and it's probably a little easier to find her path because she's so warm, and it's probably really warm in here. People are like moving to get out of the way because it's hot in here.
It's actually pretty. It's right now. It's actually a pretty good temperature. You notice.
Nice.
The only one who feels like it's hot in here is Wiggum, and Wiggum is. You would probably be sweating profusely right now. But the rest of you all, you see it as a totally temperate room.
Okay. Well, that being the case, I'm probably going to situate myself, like, if there's there's tiers seating.
You want to be high up or low?
Okay. I'm going to be in the middle.
In the middle, okay. So you position yourself in the middle, and do you want to like take a seat, or do you want to be hidden by the amongst the crowd?
I will be hidden amongst the crowd, and I'm also just going to keep an eye on Cinder as well.
Okay.
Just to make, like, once his cast goes off, then I'm focused on other things.
Awesome. Okay. So you all are positioned. Oh, the only one I don't really know where you're going to be is Izzy. Izzy, where would you like to be positioned?
So we've got 2 in the crowd, right? And then
one in the rafters with the owl, 2 in the crowd, 1 kind of on the entrance, and then there's also this setup area and the ring itself and a concession stand.
Probably near. Where does it seem like Jeffrey would be?
Probably towards concession, since he's a carnival worker.
Then I will head that way and really try and keep my lines of sight open to all of those to where everyone is. Though actually I wouldn't be able to see where you are, because you're invisible. And I will have Dreer continue sort of tripping people or knocking their milk bottles over.
Okay.
Getting it out of the way if he can.
If he can. Okay. So Dreer moves through the area. So as you are all positioned, Callie.
So, how high up am I?
The big top is, it has a ledge up 40 feet, and the big top's ceiling seems to taper off at about 50 feet up.
Okay, so I'm fine. And then I can see Caldera, Cinder, and Izzy.
I'd say you can see everybody but Wiggum, because Wiggum's invisible.
So they're all going to get a sending message. I'm sorry, not sending, message about the drama in the VIP box.
Awesome. Cool.
And I also think, really quickly, and I just want to flavor this, and you can feel free to nix it, because I made, because familiars can either be Celestial, Fae, or Fiend. They take on these forms, but that's the base of them. I made Aquila be a Fiend.
Okay.
So if there's a way that Aquila and Dreer can communicate, because they're both Fiends, I would have...
Drew's actually Fae.
Oh, never fucking mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's our PG-13 right
Fae. Yeah.
You know what? Flip that, reverse
it. We get one.
But Dreer can talk, and eventually gets telepathy at some point.
That's okay. I'm fine with Dreer having telepathy anyway, because I feel like imp form-ish is super cool and would have that.
I basically am saying that I feel like while the group is happening, there's a B plot of Aquila and Dreer probably like checking.
They're on a date. They're like
you're just hanging out.
But I just feel like they also
cigars
interact while the others aren't. So they kind of like Aquila is probably also like sharing information.
Okay. So if can I see the milkman from where I am?
Based on your perception check, you got a 19, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I'd say you can basically see everything that Callie can. Although if anything is physically obscured, obviously you wouldn't be able to. Like behind the bleachers, Callie can see, but not you.
I'm wondering if it's worth it just to go ahead and hex him now.
Hex him?
Yeah, he won't know that it's happened.
It's worth a shot. Up to you.
Might as well do it before we're dealing with the chaos of whatever may be coming.
Okay.
So yeah, I will I reach into my pocket, and I'm just, I'm having this conversation about how difficult it is. I'm not a kid anymore. It's just really hard, they don't pay us very well. I mean, I have nothing. And he turns out his pocket and pulls out the eye of a newt, which he puts between his pinky and ring finger, and he kind of looks over and says, it's just really hard, And he sort of walks away from the other concession worker, and as he turns, he points his finger at the milkman very subtly and casts a hex. And I get to give them disadvantage on ability checks made with chosen ability. They'll have disadvantage on those. Let's go with
the suspense is killing.
The skill of
Dex.
evil.
Right?
Dex. Okay, so he has disadvantage on Dex for
on Dex
what, a minute?
No,
Or
until the
until-
hex is over, and the hex is
24 hours or
is,
something.
up to
And
an
it's-
hour.
Up to an hour.
And it's ability checks, not saves.
Ability checks, not saves. Okay. So you cast this hex. Does he know this is cast on him?
Nope.
Okay. So this bad magic just kind of envelops him.
Bad magic. It's great magic.
Bad. It's very bad magic. The show begins as you do this. So the lights dim down in the stands. And yes, Wiggum.
Sorry, I was.
That's okay. You muted yourself again, so you'll have to unmute and You're muted right now. so
Cone
you'll
of
have-
silence.
There you go. Now we got you.
My bad. I'm old. God dang it. All right. So before we started this, you said I was sweating.
Yes, you are sweating.
I just wanted to validate, is that an unnatural sweat, or is that because of my blue leathers?
It is. Why don't we just get this out of the way? Why don't you give me your con save now?
I rolled a natural 1.
Awesome. So, Wiggum.
Oh, can I?
Yep.
As I start to sweat, first of all, I'm probably gonna go look for more milk just to cool off.
Milk
Oh yeah,
sweats.
you definitely want some more milk.
I'm sitting on an enhance ability cast. I'm waiting to cast my con advantage.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to find. I'm waiting off until something happens before I was going to cast it.
Now,
So if I
that would
feel
be good.
As I feel myself getting ill, I would have and/or I will cast enhance ability.
Okay, so you cast your enhance ability, so you have advantage on this Constitution saving throw. So why don't you roll it again? Because you definitely don't want a natural 1.
Okay, way better. So 12, but I want you to know I made a choice not to take a con-based character. So my 12 becomes an 11. He's very thin. He's very skinny.
Okay, Wiggum. We will get to this. Just know that anything that happens to the audience also happens to your character.
I can't wait.
And the last thing, Justice. I promise. The last thing.
Go for it. I want to hear it.
What did I get from Detect Magic?
Okay. Yes. So,
You
let's
can say it
set the
simultaneously.
scene. Let's set the scene. Let's recap our viewers.
Yeah.
We have Wiggum climbing on this arched wooden rafter where he's waiting for something as he begins to wipe his forehead and feels like he's very thirsty. You have Cinder in the audience producing this small magical eye that's about to pulse magic out in this 30-foot radius, and which begins to just light up all of
30
these
feet.
bottles of sweet milk with magic. They all glow with this enchantment magic. So to you, it looks like a freaking Coldplay concert with people's cell phones up. Just the worst kind of concert, though. I do really like Coldplay, so I shouldn't have said that. Caldera, you have Caldera is kind of melding into this middle rafter and keeping an eye on her brother, who has just gotten this wave of magical energy that is like the oh no moment as Izzy casts this hex on the milkman, who kind of with magical energy. And then up in the rafters, accompanied by an owl, is Callie watching over everything as the show begins. And if at any point you guys want to interrupt, the first act begins, and this were-tiger, who is in tiger form now, they put on this show pretending that Davin is in danger and that the tiger is out to get him, but really it's a finely choreographed act between these two. When they begin fighting, Caldera, while you're in the stands, you notice somebody kind of nodding off a little bit. And they kind of wobble and then they fall out of their seat. And so Patch kind of improvises and she says, "This show is not for the faint of heart. Can someone get that person a doctor, please?" And somebody helps this person off to the side and begins to take a look at them. Would you like to go with them or stay? You're muted.
You're muted.
I'd like to get a glimpse of them as they're taken away.
Okay.
But I think I'll stay for now.
Okay, so I'll say you just kind of scooch to the edge of the bleacher so you can kind of see what's going on. So you see this doctor kind of looking over, and the show continues. By the way, everybody let me know if any of this touches on anything, please say something. So you notice that as the show continues, all of these people that have been drinking this sweet milk, they start to show signs of something being wrong. Most of them begin to go pale, and you can see most of them fanning their faces with Carnival programs and sweating similar to Wiggum.
But we don't see him.
Yeah, this invisible person fanning themselves. So you don't see Wiggum. You notice that...
it's only a minute, though, of invisibility, right?
No, it's an hour. Invisibility is an hour.
Okay.
You notice that a couple of them are talking. The doctor talks to this person, says, "Hey, are you feeling okay? What's going on?" And the person starts to speak in this low, slow motion and says, "I'm so thirsty. I just need some more milk."
He needs some milk.
And a lot of them are commenting that it's really hot in here. And you guys notice that the air begins to smell a little strange, kind of like that plushie that you popped earlier. It starts to smell kind of like this milk smell, this gross milk smell.
What is the milkman doing? Akila's going to turn their head and look.
The milkman is just calmly watching. He's paying no attention to anything as Patch kind of steps up at the end of the first act, and she bows for a moment. She says, "Thank you so much to Davin the Daring, this brave warrior. But before we continue with our next act, I wanted to show you that our wonderful sponsor here, who has made all of this possible, I wanted to give him a chance for us to say thank you and give him a moment to say a few words." And the spotlight kind of falls over the milkman, who's been sitting there calmly, almost like robotically, not really remarking or smiling in any way. Izzy and Callie would notice that, anybody who can see him from the stands. So the milkman kind of nods and he stands up and he begins to walk out to the ring to say a few words. Now, Izzy, you have been marked with a hex spell, so I wanted to ask you if you wanted to do anything first.
Nope, not yet.
So he steps up on the star-shaped little stand out in front. He begins to speak. He speaks at first like any classic, businessman who shows no emotion.
Just a point. Aquila would have relayed that he looks very stoic and not really showing anything.
Okay.
And the one that Cinder's in motion, and he doesn't like that. He's good. Nothing's happening, but he is reaching to his pocket to grab something. And that's all for now.
Justice, if I feel like I'm about to pass out, if I feel like, because I do know what's happening, it's not like I'm a helpless victim. I mean, I understand that something bad's happening. If that's the case, I'm going to make my way to Cinder or to Caldera for somebody to help. You know what I mean? Like,
Sounds
I
good.
don't want to pass out invisible.
Right.
And then I've got is there a safety net or no?
Do you want there to be one?
No.
Then no. And you do have that. You do have that bar in view. So if you want to swing down and Indiana Jones it, you totally can. At any point.
Is it just trapeze or is there a tightrope too?
There's a tightrope too.
Then I'm going to take the high wire to the center because I know I'm going to be in the dark because the spotlights are somewhere else, and just have a knife or something ready.
I think this is a very appropriate time to ask you for an acrobatics check.
Oh, this is a totally.
Seems like exactly what
I'm at a
this
plus
check was built
8,
for.
so as long as I don't really botch it, I'm fine. I rolled an 18.
18.
Nice.
So effortlessly, you just kind of walk like you're walking on any other ground over this tightrope, looking down.
We stand.
Yeah, at your all of the stuff below you with a dagger in hand. So the milkman steps up and he begins to talk. He says, "What a marvelous show! It's amazing what wonders you can achieve when you let go of your inhibitions. I'd like to thank Councilwoman Oakbottom for attending our show, for if it wasn't for her, none of us would be here tonight." And he gestures over and a spotlight comes on Abigail. She kind of acknowledges the milkman with a smile and a forced wave. You notice that the milkman's speech begins to get increasingly unhinged. And as it does, you hear this shattering of milk bottles. Different people in the stands are dropping it almost. You can see this carnival attendee near you, Izzy, from the concession stand, who is now like kind of leaning over the little area where they receive people. And their jaws just kind of open. And as you see their eyes, the pupils are gone and they're replaced by this kind of cloudy mist, and their eyes are almost double the size that they were before. They are zombie-like, these hypnotized milk thralls, as they kind of lean over in this hypnotic stare, listening to the milkman's words. You hear this steady trickle of milk down the stands from all these shattering milk bottles of all these people that are kind of snapping into that hypnotic gaze. All these groans begin to emit, very zombie-like, as their eyes sag and cloud.
At this point, Caldera would be making her way over to Cinder.
Okay, so
And at this point, if anybody else would do something, that's fine. But at this point, you will see him grasp what he was grabbing onto, and it was a small piece of iron. He will squeeze it as tightly as possible, and when he opens it, it is molten. And he'll whisper words in Primordial with the Ignan dialect, like Yashua. And immediately 4 rings form from this iron and rush towards him and disappear in some kind of arcane way. He needs to make a wisdom save as I cast Hold Person.
to the milkman?
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, so he says, he's in the middle of his speech. He says something about, "You've spoiled my fun once," and your spell goes off. And what is your wisdom save?
Let's do this. 14.
So he seizes up in the middle of his speech as all of these milk thralls begin to shuffle down the stands, kind of clambering over each other towards him. What do you do now? Actually, this is a great time to roll initiative.
Yes.
I am checking the time. We will wrap up momentarily. I will describe the scene and we will end tonight's session.
Oh no!
Oh, I'm sad.
And before,
Keep going.
when the thralls
go around
first
if
started
you want.
happening, I wanted to message Izzy to find Wiggum because I can't see him, so I can't message him.
Okay. So let's go through our initiatives.
Good.
17.
17 for Wiggum. Okay.
Natural 20. Come on, do it. Do the thing. I'm over it. It's natural 20.
It worked. It sharpened
Natural
at the last
20 for
second.
Which
Cinder.
makes it a 22.
Natural 1,
Natural 1 for Caldera.
which makes it a 1.
Easy.
I am an 11, and then Dreer is a 12.
11 and 12. And since you guys are so close to each other, I'm going to say if you want to reverse those, you're welcome to.
Oh,
Sure.
Let me do it.
And then
Keela got a
I think
natural
I
1.
got
Actually, no,
Callie.
let's not, because I'll use Dreer to help.
Okay. Callie?
I only rolled a 7, so it's 11.
7, so it's 11. Who has the higher dex between you and Izzy?
Probably. I'm a 13, so it's got to be you because you're an acrobat.
Yeah, I have 18.
Okay. So then you will go in between Dreer and Izzy.
And if you didn't hear it, Keela got a natural 1.
And Akila got a natural 1.
How that works.
All right. So if you all want, we can narrate this out and end, or we can narrate this out and do one round of combat.
Narrate and end is my opinion.
I feel like I don't want to start it and then stop.
Go straight into
All right,
combat,
deal.
yeah.
I like it. I'm sorry, Matt. He got that finger up. Okay. So here's what you all see. You see the milkman seize up from this spell that this mage in the stands has spun on him. You see this mass of zombie-like milk thralls begin to shuffle towards, a few of them grabbing Arthur and Abigail, trying to whisk them off to some predetermined location worked into the milkman's spell-like concoction. Wiggum, you begin to... your skin turns translucent. You feel like you have a bad stomachache and a splitting headache. You have contracted what is called pale fever. So I will give you what this is later, but you have a lot of bad stuff happening to you right now, essentially. But you do not pass out, and you, as an adventurer, are stronger than these commoners and can resist this better than they can. So you are not a milk thrall. You are still Wiggum.
Nice.
Yes!
In the meantime, you all see 3 of these milk thralls start to kind of pick out Caldera and Cinder from the crowd. The 2 odd ones out from everybody else being these thralls, essentially. They turn to shuffle towards you too. And that were-tiger jumps out, except instead of a normal tiger, it has a long tongue, 6 feet long, dragging along the ground, leaving this milky white snail-like stream behind it. And as it crawls along the ground, it laps up milk dropped from the other people. And the milkman lets out the last of his faltering speech. He had just said, "You spoiled my fun once." And as he seizes up, he says, "Now I spoil yours." And that's where we'll end tonight.
Oh!
Hope everybody had fun.
So good.
Wow.
So good.
So, as we wrap up for tonight, we would like to thank everybody who watched. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, this is the Beadle and Grimm's Twitch channel, and this is Step Right Up, sponsored by Beadle and Grimm's. I'd like to thank all of our players as well for playing, and thank you so much. And before we go, we'd like to kind of let everybody know where you can find each of you all. Time to do a plug and say anything you want to say. So we'll start off with the way I have it on my screen because I can't see the Twitch stream, and we'll start with Mikaela. So Mikaela, tell us about you and where can we find you?
Oh, hi, I'm Mikaela. I produced this thing for the first time. I work with Justice and Matt at Beadle and Grimm's. You can find me on Twitter at Mikaela_V_Sims. And that's about it for me.
Yeah, and Mikaela did all of the overlays and put together all the music.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
they are awesome. She did a great job. Thank you super much. None
So
of us
good.
in the company could have done that. Next we'll go with CB.
Oh, hey, Omega Jones, but Critical Bard across all social media channels. That's what you can find me. I don't work for Beadle and Grimm's. I'm just a vocalist and actor in the community who likes to have some fun. And most recently, I can plug this. I am a copper selling DM's Guild content creator. I created the bardic subclass, the College of Acapella, and inspired by harmony and the connection of your fellow group. So yeah, if you want to check that out, look at the preview if you can. It's been being wonky because DM's Guild is fine. But yeah, check that out. And yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Jen.
I am Jen Kretchmer. You can find me on Twitter as @DreamWisp. You can find me on Twitch as DreamWispJen. I am a writer, producer, actor. I'm on D&D Beyond's Beyond Heroes on Wednesdays from 2 to 4. And this was so much fun. Thank you all so much for putting this together and having us. And yay, so much fun.
Thanks. I want to say Caldera. LaTia?
That's me. I am LaTia Jacquise at The Lady Tiefling across all social media. I am also the newest cast member of the D&D produced stream or D&D Twitch stream Rivals of Waterdeep. Do they produce it? No, they don't, I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I am on Rivals of Waterdeep, currently on hiatus as we work out the logistics of our 7th season, which is forthcoming. I am also one of the community managers of D&D Adventurers League, the organized play program. In a week or so, you can find me playing during Jasper's Game Week, which is a week-long stream of games that are produced to raise money and fund.
She froze.
Oh no.
Nonprofit for suicide prevention.
There she goes.
Oh no. It happens.
You're back.
Nonprofit suicide prevention. I'm going to be playing in games. Find me. I'm everywhere. Come give me love, and I will love all of you.
Awesome. And Matt?
Yeah, I'm Matthew Lillard. I'm Matthew Lillard on all things. I'm Instagram and Twitter. I'm one of the founders of Beadle Grimms. I'm also playing a Jasper's game next week, which I'm excited about. And we're super honored this is our first stream. We've hosted other people streaming on our Twitch channel before, but this is our first Beadle Grimm stream. So I want to say thank you very much, Mikaela, who put it all together and sort of made us all do it. And Justice for running your content. It's awesome.
It's so good.
I feel like in celebration of this next week, I feel like we should give away stuff. So next time on the stream, Beadle Grimms will give away a bunch of stuff.
Awesome. So next Saturday. It'll be Saturday, May 2nd.
Saturday, May 2nd. Oh, next Saturday. Okay, good.
Same time, 1 week from today.
Oh, good. Okay, good. So we'll give away stuff, and thank you for joining us. And it was awesome. So thank you guys. It was awesome to have you on the stream, and it was really, I don't know. I feel like it was an honor to play with you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, likewise.
Aww.
We love Wiggum.
Wiggum's great.
So great.
Wiggum is great. I love that you drank the milk, because everybody knows the milk is bad when they play this adventure, but somebody's got to drink it to see what happens, right?
I for sure am looking for more milk as I sweat. And who are you, Justice? Tell us who you are.
I'm Justice. I was your ringmaster tonight. I am the writer of this awful adventure, which is a DM's Guild staff pick. Do know that if you do buy the adventure on the DM's Guild, it's a little different. But thank you everybody for tuning in, and it's going to get weird next session. You can find me on Twitter at Justice Arman _Arman.
Yay.
And that's it. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody.